The Buffalo Bills are on the move, full throttle and wheels up. They're riding the wind in Buffalo. The Bills have the best record in the AFC. Jim Kelly is the quarterback of the NFL's highest-scoring offense. It's a balanced attack featuring the talented Andre Reed in the passing game. Going into this weekend, Thurman Thomas was the league's leading rusher. And the Bills' defense has rocked opposing offenses this season. Number 78, Bruce Smith, with 11 quarterback sacks, has been jamming and slamming all year long.
It's a very aggressive defense. We just have so much enthusiasm and so much energy. We try and see how many people we can get around the ball at one time.
The Houston Oilers. Baby, they were born to pass. Warren Moon is a trigger man on the wild run-and-shoot Houston offense. And he's on a pace to set numerous NFL passing records this season in this wide-open attack that provides plenty of targets.
Run and shoot has been a good offense for us. We started out slow, with a lot of adjustment to it because it was something totally new to us, but we've adjusted to it, and we've made the plays. We're scoring, and we're moving the ball against everyone in the league.
The Buffalo Bills meet the Houston Oilers on ABC's Monday Night Football.
I'm getting ready for Evander Holyfield, but tonight, I'm ready for some football.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, too.
Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? Hey, this is Rockin' Randall Hank. Ready to get the good times started. From the opening kickoff to the grand finale, it's a Super Bowl season on a ABC. Yes, everybody is a fan. This is the biggest party, man. All my rowdy friends across this land, we all got it started. Yeah, everything is ready, everything is right. Monday Night Football is coming on tonight.
ABC's Monday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Oilers. Brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for that real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By the new Twist and Shoot camcorder, only from Hitachi. And by McDonald's. You know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun.
The Astrodome in Houston, Texas. A sellout crowd on hand tonight. It'll be Love You Blue as the Houston Oilers go against the Buffalo Bills in a game that will impact on the lead in two divisions of the American Football Conference, the AFC East and the AFC Central. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford along with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Happy you're with us for a game we think shapes up as a very good football game, matching the Houston Oilers and their wild run-and-shoot offense with quarterback Warren Moon on the verge of setting many NFL records. He's certainly going to take a shot at them, and the all-around efficient Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills, of course, are 9-1 coming into this game. They know what they have to do, as do the Houston Oilers. And in this wild year in the National Football League, the Oilers at 5-5 know if they win tonight, they'll move into a tie in the Central Division of the AFC with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, while the Bills at 9-1. They know they have to win tonight to stay one game ahead of the Miami Dolphins. And it's been that kind of a year. It's been that kind of a day yesterday. Upset all over the place. 5 of the 6 division leaders knocked out of tonight, and I know the Bills are hoping that does not take place and prevail again tonight.
I think it's interesting, Frank, what the Buffalo Bills have done. They have established an 8-game winning streak and won 9 out of 10, about as quietly as a team can do it in the National Football League. There's a reason for it, because for several weeks, people have been looking at the Giants and the 49ers, wondering how long they could stay unbeaten. Looking at the Chicago Bears and how well they have played. And in the AFC, looking in particular at the Raiders and the Miami Dolphins and the way they have become resurgent. So while nobody was looking, here have come the Buffalo Bills to win 8 straight. The most critical part of their season, week 2. They lost to Miami 30-7. They were listless. The players were openly critical of Marv Levy. Fines were levied the next day. The team regrouped, and they said, hey, we're not going to go through 1989 again. And they have been on a total roll since week 3 when they beat the Jets on a Monday night. But now comes the very tough part of the schedule. Tonight here in Houston, still to come, games against the Giants on the road and at home against Philadelphia and Miami. Tonight they face the Houston Oilers. I think it's a barometer just how good Buffalo is as they face Warren Moon in the run and shoot, and the guy coming off a 5-touchdown performance last week against Cleveland, Dan.
And it maybe could have been 6 or 7 touchdowns, Al. I mean, that's the way this Houston offense goes up and down the field. Moon having one of the best years any quarterback has ever had. Look at those 253 completions. Warren Moon has completed more passes than Jim Kelly of Buffalo has even attempted. Imagine that. 4 wide receivers for the Oilers could be the leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills. So if you like wide open football-filled skies, that's what we're going to have here at the Astrodome tonight. Now, what does the Houston Oilers team have to do defensively to win this ball game? Well, it's not going to be stop the pass. They're going to have to stop the run because they're going to see Thurman Thomas coming at them over and over. And a big loss for the Oilers tonight. Their very talented nose tackle, Doug Smith, the guy who shore things up in the middle against the run, won't be able to play tonight.
So here we go under the dome in Houston. Expanded 2 years ago. Capacity now is about 60,000 for football. It is sold out. The blackout has been lifted. And it's the Oilers and the Bills. The Bills, in a way, still trying to gain the respect of the public at large because the Oilers come in favored by 3. Scott Norwood to kick off. And the kick is fielded up at the 9-yard line by Bernard Ford, who fumbled the opening kickoff last week against Cleveland, and that led to a Browns touchdown. The run and shoot under Jack Pardee and Warren Moon having a sensational season. He spent those 6 years in Canada with Edmonton, now in his 7th year here in Houston. Just 1 running back to start. Lorenzo White will also see Pinkett and 4 wideouts. Jeffries, Gibbons, Duncan, and Hill all having very good years. No tight end with a run and shoot. There's the interior 5. The pair of guards, Munchak and Matthews, as good a pair as you'll find in the league. Oilers start from their own 25-yard line. Blowing the play dead before it starts. The clock got down to 0, and we've already got our first skirmish before we've even see a play from scrimmage.
Boy, pretty tough to have a delay of game on the first play of the game. That is poor clock management at the least.
Delay. 5 yards, still first down.
Jim Tunney making the call.
That's an awkward way to start a game, isn't it, Frank?
Interesting, too. The Marv Levy said one of the things we're going to try and do defensively is show Warren Moon a lot of different offensive fronts. And I don't know whether Warren didn't like that front or not, but in any event, that is not a good way to begin a football game.
Oilers have had a lot of trouble on their opening drives this season. In the 10 games, they've turned the ball over 6 times on their opening drive. First and 15, they set up a little screen to White, who has some blocking. Out past the 30, he has a first down, taking it to the 44-yard line. Well, they have the 4 wideouts, but they also have a couple of backs who can catch the ball in White and Pinkett.
Not a bad play to have called a screen. The defense for the Bills has 6 defensive backs. Shane Conlon, the 1 linebacker, and he had sprinted into coverage the other way, and it was wide open. So apparently the Bills are going to go with the 6 defensive backs. Conlon will be the linebacker, and Cornelius Bennett will be both a linebacker and a down lineman.
You can see him there now, Frank, at the bottom, down in a defensive end stance. And Bruce Smith is standing up top.
3 receivers were set to the left, and here is White taking it to the 48 of Buffalo, where Leonard Smith makes the tackle. It's a gain of about 9. And let's take a look at this Buffalo defense. A basic 3-4, Seals, Wright, and Bruce Smith the man to watch. The linebackers, a great quartet, Bennett and Conlon, Bentley and Talley. And the secondary, Jackson has been gimpy, bad ankle, but in there right now with Odoms. Hagee and Smith are the safeties, and if there's a familiar name missing, it's Mark Kelso, the free safety who's on injured reserve. They hope he's back next month. 2nd and inches at the 47-yard line. And it's White seeking the first down and getting it. As he moves to the 46-yard line, it's Jeff Wright, number 91, in on the stop. And so back-to-back first downs for the Oilers.
When you go against the run and shoot defense, you've got to have a lot of defensive backs available. Al already told you the problem with the key injury to Kelso not being in there. He is kind of the quarterback of the defense, and when you don't have him in there, you're not going to get the changes, you're not going to get the calls and the switches as quickly and as well as he can deliver them. But we'll have to watch 47, Kirby Jackson, tonight, the cornerback. He has been suffering from a sore knee and also a hamstring problem. So the Bills, a little bit of trouble in the secondary and a tough game to play that way.
First down, Oilers at the Buffalo 46. And again, big hole for White, who exploits it, taking it to the 36-yard line and close to a first down. Leonard Smith and Cornelius Bennett converge on the tackle.
Boy, the Bills that time are going to run a line stunt and stunt right out of the hole. Marcus Patton, a linebacker, was in there to defensive line position, stunted all the way to the other side of the center, and Lorenzo White just has a huge aperture to get through.
Looked like the same sort of aperture that Barry Sanders kept running through on Thanksgiving Day against Denver.
As they humiliated the Bronco defense, and this is what you get out of that run and shoot. If you get past that initial line of scrimmage, that first wave, there's not another guy for another 10 yards.
On 2nd and 1, Moon going deep, has a man open, touchdown, Hayward Jeffries.
Are you ready for some football?
I'll tell you, lightning early on. Warren Moon looked to the right. The man was covered. Found Jeffries splitting Odoms and the safety wide open. And, of course, part of the look-off, I think, was what affected the coverage. Jeffries scored a 41-yard touchdown a week ago, and he gets a bomb in the early going here tonight.
Boy, the simplest pass pattern going. I mean, just literally straight down the field for Haywood Jeffries, and the Bills outclassed.
Jeffries kept it alive. He was not the prime receiver, but he kept on his route, and Moon found him.
Teddy Garcia with the point after. And so the drive begins, oddly, with a delay of game penalty, and that's the only mistake.
Well, the Houston Oilers have not punted on an opening possession this entire year. Al mentioned the 6 turnovers, 4 touchdowns, and a field goal. These guys make it interesting early.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized.
What happened? The car just kind of...
Ask him. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
And as these slides dramatically illustrate, annual net profits are...
Instead of presenting information in a way that just sits there, now you can make it come alive. An IBM PS2 with microchannel can add full motion video and stereo sound to text and graphics. So from classrooms to boardrooms, anything you create can be a multimedia experience that's truly moving. To get more impact, how you going to do it? PS2 it.
Ford Tempo is designed to put quality right at your fingertips, along with a number of other things. And as you can see, its value is also well within your reach. Ford Tempo. Who says you have to be well-to-do to do it well?
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Oilers pick right up where they leave off last week, and the Buffalo defense falls victim to the early drive. Moon 2 for 2 on the drive. 37-yard touchdown pass to Haywood Jeffries. 3:18 gone in the first quarter. Garcia's kick picked up by Don Smith, and not a lot of room for Smith as he makes the catch along the sideline and remains close to the stripe and is out of bounds near the 27-yard line. Opening drive, 74 yards.
A juggernaut.
318.
Boy, they really put themselves in a hole when they opened up with that delay of game penalty. Huh?
You saw Hagee 22 and Odoms talking it over a moment ago. You saw Odoms there yell something to Hagee, who should have been deep in the hole, but he was frozen by Warren Moon's look to the right, and Jeffries wide open, splitting the zone. And Warren Moon could not have thrown it better either.
Frank, it almost looked like Odoms was expecting Jeffries to run a crossing pattern, go across the field rather than straight down the field.
Bills begin with a pass, and it is caught by Jamie Mueller coming out of the backfield, and he is bombed by Chris Dishman. Dishman known for his hard hitting and makes his presence felt very early as we look at the Buffalo offense. Kelly at the helm, Thomas and Mueller the running backs. The venerable Lofton and Andre Reed are the wideouts. McKellar has done a great job as the tight end. And the offensive line, which was a question mark when we saw this team in preseason, has really come around. Kent Hall having another Pro Bowl type season at center. 2nd and 8 from the 27-yard line. Here's Thomas behind Mueller. And a play they run effectively a lot. It'll be 3rd and 1. Smith and McDowell make the tackle. Here's the Houston defense. They gave up a lot of points last year, and they've tried to revamp it and reshape it. Fuller, Childress, Johnson, and Jones, the 4-man line. They don't blitz the linebackers a lot. Grimsley, Smith, and Meads, their linebackers collectively have 2.5 sacks this year. Dishman and Richard Johnson, the corners. McDowell and Terry Kennard, the longtime former Giant, the safeties. 3rd and 1, and Don Smith comes in the game with McKellar in motion, and they give it to Mueller, and he vaults for the first down to the 35-yard line.
You touched on something, Al. It is a much more disciplined defense for the Houston Oilers than it was a year ago under Jerry Glanville, rather obviously. But Jack Pardee is a much more disciplined coach. However, they're not, they haven't really eased up on a lot of it because they're also the most penalized team in the league, and most of that coming defensively. They play a tough defense, but they do have the discipline. They're not wildly blitzing like they were a year ago. It's a very pulled-together defense under that man, Jack Pardee.
That's Thomas split out to the left. And it's Kelly throwing, and the catch is made by the tight end McKellar, and he is taken down near the first down marker at the 46-yard line. And in fact has enough to move the sticks. McKellar, 6'4", former basketball player out of Jacksonville State, that's schooled in Alabama. And he's become just another weapon for Jim Kelly to use, because Metzelaars has been their tight end for several seasons. Effective blocker, but not much of a receiving threat. McKellar gives him that extra dimension. Thomas for a gain of 1 to the 47-yard line. Al Smith makes the tackle. He's their leading tackler along with Bubba McDowell.
You know, McKellar has a dilemma here. You know, players come out before warm-ups officially begin, and they like to talk to their counterpart on the other team. They kind of, some of the guards like to talk to the other guards. And who's Keith McKellar going to talk to for the Houston Oilers? They don't even have a tight end on their spot. I mean, he just wanders around aimlessly out there during warm-ups, bumping
looking
into
for a friend.
Yeah.
Or as Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator of the Bills, would tell you, he would go over and talk to one of those little flies that they use for receivers.
2nd and 9 from the 47-yard line. Kelly fires over the middle, and a nice catch made by Andre Reed, who was blanketed by Dishman, holds on anyway and has a first down after an 11-yard gain to the 42-yard line.
You can't cover better than that. Dishman was glued all over Andre Reed. Kelly put it in the perfect spot. Nothing Dishman could do without coming up with pass interference, and Reed gets the first down.
I mean, that is really an excellent job by Dishman of trying to strip that ball away. And, of course, how about the effort by Andre Reed to hold on to it? Look how it almost comes out. Great upper body strength by Andre Reed, a very strong, very physical receiver. There's Chris Dishman already in this ball game from the opening hit on Jamie Mueller.
42-yard line. Thurman Thomas to the 40. Gain of about 2. John Grimsley, the outside linebacker, makes the stop. Well, next week, of course, we will be at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Each team naturally losing yesterday, but both come in with a mark of 10-1. Next week at Candlestick is the Giants with Phil Simms, the 49ers and Joe Montana, 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Can't tell you how many people asked if we were disappointed about that. Certainly we were. We would have loved to have had an undefeated game going, but there's so much on the line. We're still looking forward to it.
Still the best game of the regular season by far. 2nd and 9. Kelly. And
whoa, that's got to come out.
Is there a flag? Yes, there is. Johnson getting the piggyback ride. James Lofton.
In case the officials were not looking, Lofton was going to make certain they were able to come up with the call. Johnson all over his back.
I think we have highlight film material. Steve Sable at NFL Films already sending for this film. It's fairly obvious. The left arm and Richard Johnson all over.
Number 23, first down.
And James Lofton showing a little strength of his own here as he just takes Richard Johnson for a little ride. Now, if he would have just flipped him over, put him down for the 3 count, he had a nice pin.
Yeah, you know, somebody playing James Lofton that close.
Taking him up to bed or read him a bedtime story.
Great look.
I'll tell you, if you play Lofton that close and a man for man as they were a moment ago, you're going to see him on some kind of a move to the outside and a deep pattern. He still has the speed even at age 34.
1st and 10. Buffalo at the 29. Oilers lead 7-0. Thomas. And Thomas finds that hole and moves to the 19-yard line as Bubba McDowell makes the stop. It's close to a first down as they take a look, and it, I believe, is. And now Jim Tunney is saying, hold on a second.
There you can see Thurman Thomas, 2nd in the NFL with those 900 yards. What, Al? Marion Butts is number 1, but he's got, what, 2 games in hand?
Before this game started, and it's going to be a first down. Before the game started, Butts had the lead over Thomas by 95 yards, but as Dan said, San Diego's played 2 more games. One because they played yesterday and Buffalo hasn't this week, and the other because San Diego does not have did not have its bye yet. That's still to come. It is 2nd down as Thomas carries to the 15-yard line, and they pick up the first down to keep the drive alive.
Frank, both of these teams in their respective drives have had a 2nd and 6 inches, and both of them have elected to just slam it in over a guard and pick up the first down. I hate that.
It's interesting contrast in the 2 offenses, too. The Bills went down there, boom, 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 hit with the big one, and rather the Oilers did, and now here come the Bills using up the clock, and this is what we thought they would do with the run and with the short pass. Interesting contrast. These very conservative offense and the wild open offense of the Houston Oilers.
Buffalo with 5 first downs on this drive. Here's Thomas behind Mueller. Out of bounds he goes at the 14-yard line. Grimsley will get credit for the tackle. Clock is stopped with 5:18 to go in the opening quarter. Houston on top 7-0.
Dishman limping a little bit. Chris Dishman really slow getting back to the Oiler huddle. He looked like he pulled a little something as he went out of bounds. It's going to be interesting to see if he stays in it. And if one of the Bill coaches upstairs did notice that we've got a lame corner out here.
They seldom miss it.
Yeah, he's noticeably limping as he comes out here to cover Lofton. Right here at the bottom of the screen.
2nd and 8. And we'll see if Kelly has picked it up. Kelly instead goes over the middle to Reed on a crossing pattern. Flag goes down. Reed is tackled at the 8, and I think we've got a face mask coming up. The erudite Jim Tunney is our referee tonight.
Reed's head took that dip you always see when somebody gets a hand in there.
Well, that's a great pass pattern. Andre Reed coming in from the outside and floating in underneath. Excellent pattern by Buffalo.
5 yards face mask, number 27. 5 yards, half the distance of the goal line, makes it a first down.
Watch McKellar, the tight end, release, and here comes Andre Reed, and watch him break right underneath McKellar. You seldom see 2 receivers that close to one another, but Frank, that was set up all the way, and of course, McKellar's a pretty good sized pick out there.
Battleship leading the way for a destroyer.
There you can see the face mask. Inadvertent.
And here's where Buffalo is really strong statistically. They move so well inside the 5.
And here's also where they love to go to Butch Roll, number 87, who they put in at tight end and have thrown 8 consecutive touchdown passes in 4 years to him. Mueller takes the ball to the 1. It's becoming less and less of a secret, but every time Buffalo gets down deep, number 87 comes in. They've thrown the ball to him 8 times in 4 years for 8 touchdowns. Bills inside the 5 have only failed once to get into the end zone last year, and this year they've been perfect.
That's excellent. I mean, that is absolutely excellent.
It usually tells you a lot about their offensive line when you say, Dan,
yes,
who's ruling it down there.
Yep. You're exactly right, Frank.
2nd and goal. McKellar goes in motion. Smith. No signal yet. And the Bills, as you can see, time being given by Metzelars over to the bench. They are that much short of the goal line. 3rd down.
Frank, this is really where the loss of Doug Smith really hurts the Oilers. I know you were talking to him yesterday about his bad back, but he's the guy that anchors that defensive line, especially here in a goal line situation.
Oh, he was in misery last night. He's the big 300-pounder that ordinarily would be in there right in the middle. And he just was in tears last night with the pain. Said he just couldn't go tonight.
3rd and goal. Smith is the tailback. Mueller the fullback. McKellar goes in motion. It's Don Smith, and Smith gets turned back short of the goal line by Bubba McDowell.
Boy, Frank, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of the I formation that close to the goal line, because you put your back so far from the line of scrimmage that he's able to get caught off the corner, and that's exactly what happened that time to Don Smith. It takes so long to get there. Look at the eye. You see how it takes so long to get him to the ball, to him, that Bubba McDowell was able to slice all the way off the corner and get in on the play.
So it's 4th and goal. The Bills will go for it on the game's first critical decision. It's the play fake. Kelly throws into the end zone, and it's caught by Metzelars for a touchdown. So instead of going to Roll, and again we say it, it's no secret anymore, with Roll having scored 8 touchdowns, another new little trick in the Buffalo playbook. They find Metzelars instead, who came into the game having caught only 6 passes all season.
Only inches to go, and Houston bought the play action all the way.
It's not often, Frank, a guy catches a touchdown pass who's down in a 4-point stance. But there's Metzelars all the way to the left of your screen, down on all 4s, like he's going to root that linebacker out of there. Does a little leapfrog and gets a touchdown reception.
Scott Norwood for the extra point to tie it. Metzelars has become the 17th different Bill to score a touchdown this season.
Is this not Bills football, too? That drive covering so much time off the clock and winds up with the 7 points. Keep the Houston offense off the field, and that's what they did.
It's a parking lot down there.
Ford trucks not only have durable automatic transmissions, there's one designed for smoother shifting and significantly better fuel economy. One of the most advanced electronic automatic transmissions ever made.
Ford trucks, the best never rest.
And now, a Ford truck with this remarkable transmission is priced over $600 less than Chevy. The best-built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
Come on, mates. I've got a surprise for you.
What's the surprise?
I'll show you.
Whoa! Look, Bernard. It's us.
Just for the holidays at McDonald's, you can get Bernard. Or Miss Bianca, the famous heroes from Walt Disney Pictures' new animated feature, The Rescuers Down Under. Now in theaters everywhere. One ornament's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates, or $1.49 with any food purchase.
Very handsome, but I prefer the real one.
Whenever my brother Tom and his friends had to decide what game to watch on TV, it was a toss-up.
Heads or tails? Heads.
Then Tom got smart. Very smart! He got this Magnavox TV with a built-in smart window. so Killer could watch football on the main screen.
And without getting mad when Stork and I check out basketball on the smart window.
You might say Magnavox saved your friendship, Tom.
You could actually say it saved my life.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
Two NFL division leaders meet in one of the biggest games of the year. It's the clash of the Titans, the Giants, and the 49ers. Next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Here's Metzelar's right here. Look how low he is. He sells Richard Johnson, who's late falling back into it. Watch the leapfrog here by Metzelar's right over the top. Richard Johnson thinks he's in there selling the run. By the time he reacts, it's too late to fall back into it. That's a good look by a tight end, faking a run block and then able to spring out of it and get out into his pass pattern.
And so much for the first quarter, Al.
2:31 remaining. Both teams have marched down the field. The touchdowns were tied at 7. Norwood kicking off for Buffalo at the 7-yard line. This is the Ice Cube, Gerald McNeil, who came over as a Plan B acquisition from the Cleveland Browns. Brings it out to the 33-yard line. Buffalo marching down the field, 9-11, 75 yards, 15 plays to tie it. 2:22 left in the opening quarter.
Before this, you never heard of cold filtered. Before this, you never heard of genuine draft taste in a bottle. Now hear this. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Cold filter taste what it's all about. Never heat pasteurized, so the rich, smooth taste don't cook out. For those who discover its real draft taste, the world can be a very cool place.
Get out of the old, get into the cold. Miller Genuine Draft.
The Black & Decker Workmate. About all it can't help you do is clean up. But at least it gets out of your way, and it's a powerful gift idea.
Some people think it's a great idea for you to buy a second-rate antifreeze. Not all antifreeze is the same. Nothing beats Presto. And that's something you might appreciate down the road.
You're looking at an environment that is in a constant state of change. The inner workings of an automobile that has seen over 300 refinements since its celebrated introduction. This dedication to continuous improvement assures you that when it comes to award-winning design, the beauty of Ford Taurus goes much further than skin deep.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
For 4 points, which of these memorable TV kisses lasted longest?
Alan Thicke invites you to test your TV IQ. Take the tube test Wednesday.
Back at the Dome. Last year, these two teams played a game here. They played crazy eights. They had 88 points total and 888 yards combined. And Buffalo won in overtime, 47-41. And we're off to that kind of a start tonight. Already 149 yards total with 2:22 to play.
Was it that last game, the Andre Reed show?
Yes, it was.
Spectacular game for the Buffalo wideout.
And it was Reed who caught the pass in overtime for the touchdown. Here is White reversing his field. And White takes it out to the 43-yard line. And they talk about getting Alan Pinkett into the game more because he's more elusive. White more the straight-ahead type, but you'd never know it from that play.
Fine running by White. Everything closed down on the right side. He spun it off and brought it back to the left side. And we haven't seen a whole lot of that. There's been a hue and cry down here in Houston. Let's get Pinkett into the ball game. But Lorenzo White is very important because of his size, and he's in there as much as anything to protect Warren Moon. But here he shows great agility, former Michigan State star, and gets the first down. Just good, solid running.
White's already carried for 32 yards in the opening quarter. Moon protected well. It's deflected and nearly intercepted. Darryl Talley was the man who deflected it, and coming close to picking it off was the rookie James Williams, the #1 draft choice out of Fresno State.
In this defensive look by Buffalo, Darryl Talley is the only guy staying in and playing a true linebacker. Cornelius Bennett is staying in the game as well, but he's really playing a rush lineman coming from the outside. So a lot of responsibility on this guy Talley. Not only does he have to get back and like in that situation, be part of the passing game, but a lot of the responsibility for the running game up the middle falls on his shoulders as well.
That is close to what, a 4-1-6 as you'll ever see.
That's exactly what you'd call it, Al.
It is 2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line. Moon under pressure, nearly gets sacked, but is able to escape, and then is finally forced out of bounds by Darryl Pally.
I don't know how he got out of that.
No, that's where Buffalo broke the rules a little bit and came with 5 guys, and it looks like they had Warren Moon, but Moon's athleticism gets him out of it.
Take a look again. You can see they bring the linebacker, Talley, up the middle, and Jeff Wright was all over Moon, and he spins out and somehow gets away from Bruce Smith, and he tacks yardage on to what could have been about a 5 or 6 yard sack loss.
Hagee gives Warren Moon a little hit out of bounds. Boy, about another 2% on that shot, and they should have thrown the flag.
3rd and 4. Houston from the 50. A minute to go. First quarter. 7-7 is the score. And again, that big hole for White to the 28-yard line. Gain of 22 for White, and that's the longest run of the season for any Oiler.
Guys, I want to show you what one of the big problems is. One of the big problems defensively for Buffalo is when they go into man-to-man coverage. I want you to watch their defensive backs here and how they lock up in man coverage. And how the run unfolds, these guys are totally out of the play. Look how they go downfield, and here comes a running back, and they don't even see him. These guys aren't even aware that there's a run going on because they're being run clear downfield, locked up in man-to-man coverage.
Exactly what Marv Levy said last night. We have to watch out for a man-for-man coverage. He was prophetic.
Final play of the quarter. There's a penalty. It is Hill who makes the catch. The clock is down to 000. Bennett was charging through. And we'll get Tunney's call. It is an offside against Buffalo. Now, under the rules, the quarter can be extended on a defensive foul. The first and the third quarter can be extended. The option belongs to the other team. And now Tunney's going to check it out. It doesn't mean a lot in a dome. Where it means a lot is in outdoor stadiums.
Offside defense, the penalty is accepted. It'll be 1st down and 5. We're at the end of the quarter.
And they figure, what the heck, they'll just change sides. But that does come into play if you're playing outside in December.
You're right.
End of the first quarter. Good quarter. Great start. 7-7. Back we come after this commercial and a word from our ABC station.
Get away from it all in the new Explorer from Ford. If you're looking for 4 doors and more interior room than any vehicle in its class, if you want 4-liter power and push-button 4-wheel drive in the best-selling vehicle in its class, if the only thing you want to leave behind is the city, your Explorer is ready.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
To make wrenching fast and easy, you can either do this or get this, the Skill Wrench Cordless Power Wrench. It's revolutionary.
America's watching ABC.
On life's journey, we can't always see what's coming our way. It's not all fun and games. Sometimes a wrong step
The tunnel of love
can throw us onto another track. So it's good to know that one health insurance company has what it takes to get you back into the driver's seat.
What a day! Magoo, you've done it again.
Carry the strength of the Shield. Blue Shield of Western New York.
You can save a life. Find out how tonight after the Bills game.
Houston, Texas. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. Monday Night Football under the dome. It is 7-7 as we start the second quarter. The Houston Oilers on their second drive now have the ball at the Buffalo 24-yard line following a penalty. It'll be 1st and 5. Jack Pardee took over when Jerry Glanville fired / resigned last January. Pardee had been coaching at the University of Houston, so simply came across town. 1st and 5 from the 24-yard line. Moon. A lot of time and a wide open Givens and a 1st and goal at the 2.
That time Buffalo went with his own defense, and Givens and Warren Moon in total concert. They both read it together. Let's watch Givens with a lot of speed. You got to respect it. He finds a little gap in the zone, pulls up right there. He is wide open.
And that time, Buffalo elected to only rush 3 guys, and you saw the result. Absolutely no pass rush on Moon whatsoever.
Yeah. So in 2 plays, we've seen Buffalo ripped in their man-to-man with the run, and now we've seen their zone picked apart by Givens and Moon.
What's left? You got another one out there somewhere?
I'm impressed with the offense.
Let's try a combination of both.
1st and goal. Play clock is down to 2 as they get it off. Lorenzo White having a huge first half. He's in, but there's a penalty down.
And coming up was Bruce Smith saying he was held.
Yeah, it came from the umpire, and that seldom bodes well for the guys up front on the offensive line. See Matthews and Munchak and Pennison all. Bruce Smith doing a little amateur officiating. He's already got this under control. And tempers run hot.
And a few other things as well.
Are you ready?
Yep. There's such a load on Bruce Smith tonight. Jim Tunney will sort it out, but the Bills' strength of their defense are their linebackers.
Boy, you hate to get a penalty on a touchdown.
Holding. 52 offense. Still first down.
Pennison.
But the Bills' strength is their linebackers. Cornelius Bennett, Shane Condon, Carlton Bailey, and Darryl Talley. They are good. They are about the best force in the league. Are certainly right up there with the best, and you can't play them all there against the run and shoot. You've got to get 1 or 2 of them out of there, sometimes 3 of them out of there, and it makes a major difference for them defensively.
1st and goal from the 13-yard line. And Moon dumps it off, but then it's dropped and it's incomplete. White never had control of it, and Moon did a great job of getting rid of it as the pressure was being applied by Smith.
I guess we'll call that underhand sidearm right around Bruce Smith. Look at that. Boy, a perfect delivery, and Lorenzo just swings that head upfield before he tucks it away.
He might have been a surprise as Bruce Smith was able to get it off.
In the end zone for a touchdown and called back. A critical holding penalty on Pennison.
And Houston not noted for getting it into the end zone, period, inside the 20.
That's been their bugaboo this season until last week anyway, when Moon threw 5 touchdown passes. 2nd and goal. Draw. White inside the 10. Inside the 5 and takes it down to the 3. They're just about back to the original line of scrimmage. Talley makes the stop, and it will be 3rd and goal.
I say this is the perfect time to go to the tight end. Oh, wait a minute. They don't have a tight end. Boy, that would really fool Buffalo, though.
Well, and not having one, it also kind of takes away any impact of the run down here close.
Look at Tony Jones. Put him at tight end. All 139 pounds of him.
3rd and goal. 13-15 left in the half. Game tie 7-7.
What you can do defensively, of course, down here is play the receivers much tighter.
3 receivers to the right, and Moon has to come back to the left, and Moon gets taken down by Smith at the 8-yard line. And so the Oilers, as they've been prone to do this season, bogged down deep in enemy territory.
That's one of the reasons. The defender plays so much more loosely at midfield, but when you get down towards the goal line, get inside that 20, that defender moves up and plays it so much tighter. And here's Bruce Smith. He never gives up on a play. He's got great quickness. Moon had a wide open shot to the end zone, but Smith reacted and got him. At that time, the Buffalo secondary was all over those receivers.
Eddie Garcia, this will be a 26-yard attempt. Montgomery holds, and the kick is good. So Houston back up on top. They lead at 10-7, 12:42 remaining in the half.
Hitachi, it's the world's thinnest camcorder. Just twist it on and it's ready to shoot.
The Twist and Shoot camcorder, only from Hitachi.
What do I know about the holidays?
Lights.
Lights.
Camera.
Camera. Action.
Ever-ready Energizer batteries are only 99 cents after rebate, and the Sharp full-function solar calculator is only $5.88.
Ace is a holiday place for me.
Let me tell you.
What do you think? How can Americans save 7.5 million gallons of gasoline a day? Carpool. And it can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Let's put our energy into saving it.
Wow, it's the Big Four Classic. Indiana versus Louisville, Kentucky versus Notre Dame. Two unbelievable games, both back-to-back.
ABC's college basketball gets uncaged Saturday.
Monday Night Football from Houston.
Well, if you're keeping score at home, just keep track of that one. The 10-7, the field goal that Houston had to settle for after they had scored a touchdown and had it called back. We'll see if those 4 points figure in later.
Garcia's kick is fielded by Don Smith at the 5. And Smith, who's been a very valuable Plan B pickup from Tampa Bay, brings it back out to the 25-yard line. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America, and by America's favorite light beer, Miller Lite, the sole sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award. First down for the Buffalo Bills at their own 25-yard line. They have the ball for the second time in the game. Houston leads 10-7. Kelly. Protection breaks down, and he gets sacked at the 19 by Sean Jones, who leads the Oilers in sacks. He now has 7.5 this season.
Boy, a nice upfield move by Sean, and then he jumps back to the inside. Former Raider, and he is a talented. Watch him go upfield here, working against Will Wolford, and then the move back to the inside. He gets Wolford to commit upfield. That's just a real nice move by Sean Jones.
And then Kelly was trying to go deep, and he took about a 4-yard drop. And that moved to the inside, and Sean was all over him.
2nd and 15. This is Kenneth Davis, who spells Thurman Thomas from time to time, and he picks up about 5. Takes it to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 10 upcoming. Ezra Johnson and Johnny Meads make the tackle.
Thurman Thomas comes back in on the 3rd and long yardage. Thurman Thomas, not only the leading rusher for the Bills, fine receiver, the 2nd leading pass receiver of the Bills. He can work out of the backfield, or they can split him as a flanker.
3rd down, call it 10 from the 25-yard line. 11.5 to play in the half. 10-7, Houston. Kelly out of the gun. Thomas split as a receiver. And Kelly goes down as he throws, and William Fuller was the guy who came crashing through. Incomplete pass. Fuller, who suffered a concussion last week in Cleveland, almost gave Kelly one.
Well, this is nothing more than a corner rush straight upfield by Fuller, working against Howard Ballard, rather, and he might change his name to Harold after that. Fuller around the corner, and boy, what a shot he puts on Kelly, and you can see Jim follows through with the forward motion after Fuller actually hits the ball. That's very close to being a fumble. Good strength there by Kelly getting rid of it.
Rick Tootin's kick taken at the 37 by the Ice Cube, Gerald McNeil. And the one-time Brown, who decided to come home. He's from this area and signed with the Oilers. Takes it back to the 45-yard line. Tootin upset with his kick, a low liner.
Look at this again. Here comes Fuller against Ballard. Was Kelly's arm going forward? Yeah, if you're the official, you've got to rule that that's an incomplete forward pass. Good effort there by Fuller.
Introducing the American Beauty. It took vision and courage to bring it to you. It took a policy of unceasing devotion to quality. A revolution in the way its V6 engine and electronic transmission worked together with Dynaride to make it the smoothest Buick ever built. The completely new 1991 Park Avenue and Park Avenue Ultra. They're beauties, all right. American beauties. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America and beyond.
Some people see shaving as something you do for 3 minutes a day. At Braun, we see it as something you do for a lifetime. And we think you should make the best of it. The Braun Shaver, with its 3 shaving positions. Designed for those who choose to make a virtue out of necessity. Braun, the world's #1 selling foil shaver.
If you want to go places in any career, ask yourself, can I perform under pressure? Can I be counted on to get the job done? You can learn how in the Army, so when you're ready to take off, you'll know you can go far.
Everyone loves my party. Chuck's party mix tastes great. Is it my witty conversation? My sparkling personality? More Chex Party Mix. Or my ample supply of Chex Party Mix? Chex Party Mix tastes great. Goes fast.
Jim Kelly, who saw that drive come up short, going over things with Frank Reich, the man who backed him up so capably last year when Kelly was injured. Reich came off the bench and led them to 3 straight wins.
And if you could read his lips, it almost looked like he said to Reich, and I'm sure he did, what happened on that last play.
Well, after being hit 2 out of 3 times, maybe he was asking Frank if he'd like a shot at it.
Be my guest, huh?
You want a series or 2 out there? Go ahead.
Here are the Oilers at their own 46, ahead by 3. Moon hits Drew Hill, the longtime Oiler and former Ram, a guy who's been around so long. He was with the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl after the '79 season.
It is such a simple game plan for the Oilers. It is really just hold on to the football. If they've had a problem, it's been with dropped passes because, Frank, they've got somebody open on virtually every play.
And they have the perfect orchestra leader, if you will, in Warren Moon. He reads this defense about as good as you could ever want anyone to do it, and he is in total control out there. He is telling them exactly where he's going to go right now as he looks over that defense.
1st and 10 at the Buffalo 43. White. Big night for White continues. He takes it to the 37. Bennett makes the tackle. White's already gained 70 yards tonight. That's the most yardage gained by any Oiler back going back to last December for an entire game.
Great quickness there by Cornelius Bennett falling back in on that play. One of the criticisms of White is that he doesn't have a lot of real quickness, but he's always had power, and you saw it there. He dragged Bennett for another 3 yards after the hit.
2nd and 4 at the 37-yard line. 10 minutes to go in the half. Little option, and it's White, and He can't cover it, and there are the white-shirted Bills, and Leonard Smith, the safety, comes barging through to come up with a recovery.
And that ball was free. If he could have spun to his feet, he could have perhaps even got it into the end zone.
Well, Lorenzo was trying to do the right thing in terms of picking it up, but he should have fallen on the football. He was intent on picking it up and continuing to run with it. And by not really going down and smothering the ball right here, you see he should have gone to the ground and tried to smother it. He was trying to pick it up and do something with it, and that cost Houston the possession of the ball.
We were kidding around with Moon yesterday at practice. Did you junk the option? He laughed. He said, no, we put it back in.
Yeah.
They should have junked it.
Yeah, I bet they're real happy about that.
Right. From the 46-yard line, straight ahead goes Thurman Thomas, crossing the midfield stripe and taking the ball into Houston territory. Johnny Meads.
Well, it's seldom that the team that's trailing is the team that's getting the breaks, but that's the situation with Buffalo right now. They had a Houston touchdown taken back, and then the fumble. And you can see that fumble credited to Warren Moon, and he leads the NFL. We're racking up some big numbers passing-wise, but there's a number he just as soon changed.
On 2nd and 5, it's Thurman Thomas plunging forward to the 48 after the initial hit by Ray Childress.
And you get the feeling that Marv Levy sent quarterback Jim Kelly out there to go back to the game plan that we started with. Run this football if we can. Keep the passes short. They got to Kelly a couple times, and I think they're going back to what they wanted to do at the beginning.
Frank, I want to clear something up to somebody who's watching that and say, well, wait a minute, how can that be a fumble by Warren Moon? If Lorenzo White never had possession of the ball, he can't fumble it. So even though it was White that bobbled it, Warren Moon still gets strapped with the fumble.
3rd and 4. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly throws complete to the 40-yard line to Thurman Thomas, and he's out of bounds at the 35. Run out by Steve Brown, the cornerback, after a gain of 12.
An offensive machine, Thurman Thomas. 1,200 yards rushing a year ago. 60 receptions. He can do a lot of things, and you have to respect him coming out of the backfield. You have to cover him with a cornerback because he can also take it up the field like a wide receiver.
They led the league last year in yards from scrimmage. That's rushing and receiving yardage. And right now he will very shortly move past Barry Sanders, who was 33 yards ahead of him in that category coming into play tonight. 1st down from the 35-yard line. Kelly deep over the middle, and it is picked off at the 5-yard line by Terry Kennard. And the former Giant brings it all the way back to the 32-yard line.
Oh, a great run back.
Oh, yeah.
What an effort by Kennard. That's sensational.
And a pass that Kelly should never have thrown.
Boy, how many times have you seen a guy that intercepts a ball like that and then just said, oh, what the heck, I'm just going to step out of bounds. What a fine effort by Terry Kennard.
Here's Kelly, the linebacker, was deep on the coverage, and Kennard just laying back, intended there for McKellar. And then Kennard looks the field over, gets away from one tackler, and then puts on a nifty return out to the 33.
You know, I love coming to the park with Air Major. Because there's nothing better than spending a little time with man's 2 best friends. His dog and his beer. Miller Lite, the less filling beer that really tastes great. What's this?
That's mine.
Yeah, doggy.
Miller Lite, where less filling really tastes great.
Of all the world's car lines sold in this country, J.D. Power & Associates ranks only one American among the 10 most trouble-free. Buick. Before you put a new car in your garage, make sure it has one of these on the hood. The 1991 Buick Regal sedan. Its powerful V6 engine gets an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway. And that's making the imports nervous.
You know, Ace is a place for all kinds of holiday stuff.
Stuff?
From the tree and all the trimmings
Oh, we
to
have
the right stuff to put under it.
This Ace Ultra Brute flashlight with alkaline batteries, only $366, and a Polaroid high-grade video 3-pack, just $888.
When it's time for ho, 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 Ace is the place for me.
When you have these, why would you need a Black & Decker Power Ratchet? Because it's faster, easier, and works in lots of places manual wrenches can't. The Black & Decker Power Ratchet. It's really turning a lot of heads.
The top names in men's and women's golf pair up for a $1 million mixed team showcase. It's the final round of the JCPenney Classic, Sunday on ABC Sports.
And back we come to the Astrodome. That first quarter, very reminiscent of the way these two teams played last year in that wild one, very early in the season.
Back and forth. Kelly with 5 touchdowns, 47-41 in overtime.
You just get the impression, though, that the pressure so far in this game, it looks like it's going to continue, is on the Buffalo defense.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line, and that's a first down. An 11-yard pickup as Drew Hill takes it out to the 43-yard line.
I mean, defensively, the Oilers have at least come up with a couple big plays. If it wasn't for the fumble that Houston made earlier, they've shown absolutely no signs of not being able to move this ball at will. And somehow, Buffalo is going to have to gather themselves defensively and come up with some sort of a plan that stops this thing. I'm not sure they can.
I think not many teams have stopped it, considering the yardage they put together, but they have self-destructed, and that's the one thing they've done here tonight.
You really get the impression, Frank, that that's the only way it doesn't work, is if they self-destruct.
A holding call that cost them the touchdown.
Here's White, and White to the 40-yard line. A first down, stopped by Darryl Talley. As he closes in on 100, that's a 16-yard pickup for Lorenzo White, the former Michigan State Spartan.
The run and shoot offense in itself, the passing game alone is so explosive, but when you can run the football, you've got that secondary now thinking about they've got to come up and make the stop. There is Leonard Smith, ordinarily a fine tackler, missing flat out cold.
Did you guys notice the line splits that this Oiler offensive line is taking? I mean, these guards are 6 feet from the center, and the tackles are another 6 feet from their guards. Talk about spreading out a defensive front.
Oilers play selection, 10 runs and 8 passes so far. Here comes the 9th pass, maybe. He does get it off. It's White. And White inside the 30, inside the 20, to the 10.
What a great time to have a screen call. The blitz was on. Warren Moon just getting it off. And when White turns the corner, there's nobody there.
Boy, that's really nice. The key block, though, out front is by the right tackle, David Williams. David Williams is the guy that made that thing happen. Look to the left of your screen, number 73. Watch him come outside, and he's going to put Darryl Talley on the ground right there. He knocks down Talley. Here comes Bruce Matthews upfield. And as Frank said, perfectly timed. But give Big Dave Williams the credit for springing that one.
The nose of the ball is right on the stripe, so officially it's 1st and goal at the 10. And tripped up in the backfield before he can get started is Alan Pinkett, a lot smaller than White, normally more mobile, ran into his own man Maggs and stopped in the backfield.
A big-time play by Bruce Smith. Watch Smith get Maggs back in there, and I think he actually reaches in. Does he fall back in there? He sure does. Look at that play by Bruce Smith.
That's Honolulu time there.
Fabulous.
Man, there's such a load on his shoulders tonight. You can already see the sweat coming down. He's going to have to put the pressure on Warren Moon. He's also going to have to pull that defense together and somehow stop the running game of the Oilers.
2nd and goal from the 11-yard line. With 4:30 to go, and there's a whistle, and that has nothing to do with a delay.
Well, there are still 5 seconds left on the play clock.
And Tunney's mic not working, but it's illegal procedure. They are saying officially it is 2nd down. Well, it'll be 2nd down and 15 coming up. If they can get a first down without getting a touchdown, I mean, it would have to be determined by an ophthalmologist.
The irony of this Houston offense goes up and down the field so quickly is the fact that they seem much more effective the further they move back from the goal line.
2nd down and, trust me, in effect, goal from the 16-yard line. Reverse, Tony Jones. Get going, and it's Smith reaching out.
There aren't many people capable of an athletic move like Bruce Smith just made right there. A man trying to cut him, and instead of going down, he's able to jump back. And just watch this. This can't be done by many people. Back to the inside, upfield, senses the cut. Doesn't go down, jumps back to the inside, and knocks down Tony Jones. Take my word for it. It can't be done.
Two great plays in a row. Reach out and touch someone. Third down is Warren Moon. Is protected well. Goes to the end zone. No. Drew Hill couldn't catch it. Poole was there to cover. David Poole. So it's fourth down, and Houston will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Once again, Al, they were inside the 10 with a first down goal to go, and now they have to settle once again for 3, or the attempt for 3.
Yep. It's going to be about a 35-yard field goal attempt for Garcia.
Hill was there. He was open, and Moon just underthrows the ball.
Tony Zendejas broke his leg. He would normally be the Houston kicker, so they signed Garcia, who, like so many kickers, has been nomadic, New England and Minnesota and other teams in preseason, and he's able to kick this one through. His second field goal, one from 25, now one from 35, and it puts Houston up by 6. 3:07 to go in the half.
AT&T, the right choice. The first punt return touchdown in a Monday Night Football game was turned in by Johnny Rowland of the Cardinals. But who holds the record for the longest punt return in a Monday night game? Dennis McKinnon of the Bears, JoJo Townsell of the Jets, or John Taylor of the 49ers? Which would you choose?
Our bike business had never been better. So one day we just looked at each other and knew it was time to go public.
Your auditor gives us an accurate picture of your capital needs.
When are we going to hear?
It takes time. Off to New York, guys.
In 1988, John Taylor of the 49ers returned to punt 95 yards against the Redskins. If you said Taylor, you made the right choice.
The 1991 Buick Regal sedan. It's going places. Regal features four-wheel disc brakes and an available 3800 V6 engine. Leather seating areas, concert sound, and anti-lock brakes are also available. Regal is going places in comfort with the spaciousness and Buick quality that gives its competitors fits. The new world-class four-door Regal from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America and beyond.
You may have had problems with home improvement contractors, but this one would be your worst nightmare.
I paid this guy to destroy my house.
Watch Primetime Thursday.
We've got basketball for you. Doubleheader at 1:30 Eastern time on Saturday from the Hoosier Dome. It's Indiana, and they'll come home from Maui, where they lost last night to Syracuse, taking on Louisville. Notre Dame meets Kentucky in the other one. Garcia's kick goes out of bounds, and the message from Garcia this time elicits a flag.
Yeah, he says just take it on to 35, and I'm sure that's what Buffalo will elect to do.
And the Bills will have a first down at their own 35-yard line with 3:02 remaining in the opening half in the Dome. 13-7 Oilers.
Man, look at him sweat.
If you can have one great car in your life, this is it. The completely new 1991 Buick Park Avenue Ultra. To ride in it is to glory in the details. For example, driver and front passenger are now able to select separate temperatures. The available speaker system is so good, it is aptly called concert sound. There are over 1,400 refinements in this American beauty. Come see it and start counting. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America and beyond.
Come on, mates. I've got a surprise for you.
What's the surprise?
I'll show you.
Look, Bernard. It's us.
Just for the holidays at McDonald's, you can get Bernard or Miss Bianca
The famous heroes from Walt Disney Pictures' new animated feature, The Rescuers Down Under, now in theaters everywhere. One ornament's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates, or $1.49 with any food purchase.
Very handsome, but I prefer the real one.
You know, I love coming to the park with their major. Because there's nothing better than spending a little time with man's two best friends. His dog and his beer. Miller Lite, the less filling beer that really tastes great. Hey, where's Major?
Miller Lite, where less filling really tastes great.
Hey, where you been?
The 10-1 New York Giants, the 10-1 San Francisco 49ers, the almost perfect matchup next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
At the Astrodome, 13-7, Houston leading it. Again, the Oilers with a victory would move into a three-way tie for first place in the AFC Central with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Buffalo needs a win to stay a game in front of Miami. If they were to lose tonight, they'd be tied with Miami at 9-2, and in effect, Miami would have the lead by virtue of their head-to-head win against Buffalo. From the 35-yard line, first down for the Bills. Kelly throws incomplete. Intended for Don Smith. The other thing we should point out tonight, if the Bills win this game, they will clinch a playoff spot. They will not, of course, clinch the division. They will clinch at least a wild card berth. And in the NFC, the Giants have already clinched at least a wild card berth, not the division. They'll take on San Francisco next week. Here's a pass over the middle, out to midfield. It's caught by Thurman Thomas for a first down.
And the Bills going with a no-huddle offense. Well, here they go. Reminiscent of Cincinnati, calling everything right up by the line of scrimmage.
2:39 to go in the half as Kelly retreats, and was Thomas interfered with? Yes, he was.
Oh, absolutely. And it came late, but Dishman was all over it.
Yep. Little doubt.
Same pattern that Thurman Thomas caught a moment ago, coming across the middle. This time Dishman grabbed it.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 28. First down.
No attempt to play the football. Chris Dishman just going in and tackling Thurman Thomas. If you're going to be that close, you better be making some sort of an effort at the football. That's going to bring the flag every time.
First and 10 from the 44. It's Thomas. Nice move. Takes it down to the 41-yard line. Ran around Dishman.
It was such a nice move, he couldn't keep his feet.
Yeah.
This is really, I think, an excellent move by Buffalo, going to the no-huddle here at this stage of the half.
As the half winds down, each team with its full complements of timeouts remaining. It's caught at the 35 by Lofton, and he gets wrestled out of bounds. Richard Johnson making sure that James was not going to stray any further. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. Forward progress took Lofton to the 35-yard line. They're a little short of a first down, so a key 3rd and 1 will be coming up when play resumes following the 2-minute warning in the Astrodome, where the Oilers continue to lead the Bills 13-7.
Oh, somebody hammered him. Halloween was a while ago.
Buying a new car is a big step. With many car makers, the minute you drive it out the door, you may feel like you're on your own. But at Oldsmobile, you're covered by the Oldsmobile Edge, the most comprehensive owner satisfaction program in the industry. Standard on every new Oldsmobile. We're with you every step of the way.
It's the new generation of
What is the image of a rebel? These are the images of a rebel. Canon's revolutionary new autofocus EOS Rebel. So easy to use, you can stop taking snapshots and start taking photographs.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
From Touchstone Pictures, America's 3 favorite bachelors are back.
How come none of you are married?
They're having the time of their lives.
What are you doing in there? Hi.
And they're working hard at staying single.
Oh, kiss me. There's something I have to tell you. I'm impotent.
Oh, I find that so charming in a man.
3 men and a little lady.
We must control ourselves. Oh, shut up and take me.
Rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspapers for showtimes.
Obviously, Revlon has begun its Christmas advertising season. Mitch Farad is the new cover girl.
Now, if you had to pick a vocation for Mitch here after football, what do you think it might be?
Phantom of the Opera.
Now, how about a little, well, close. It's a lot of acting. How about professional wrestling? That's what Mitch would like to be at the conclusion of his football career, which, if he keeps dressing up like that on the sidelines, might be sooner than he might think.
Unusual man in the media guide. He lists his hobby as house cleaning.
Yeah, it's well, I know some girls that would never list that.
On 3rd and 1, it is Kenneth Davis who takes the ball to the 31-yard line. He is stopped by Al Smith and Richard Johnson, and it's a first down for Buffalo, and they don't want to waste a timeout here. They have all 3. Clock continues to run. 141, 140 and counting.
If you haven't watched Jim Kelly much, he's very good at managing the clock with the 2-minute game.
And he hits Reed over the middle, and Andre Reed takes it to the 18-yard line, and a Buffalo first down. Stopped by Brown.
Andre Reed is the perfect receiver for a crossing pattern because of that exceptional upper body strength he has. He's really, I think, suitably equipped to take that big shot you know you're going to get.
1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Wide open is Andre Reed. How did Andre Reed ever get that open?
I don't think that Andre Reed thought he was that open. He turned around, and I think he thought he was going to get popped. He went almost to his knees and then was able to move it inside the 10, but he was wide open. Usually, in this situation, you can throw the ball in the middle when you can't throw it outside.
1st and goal from the 7. And it's incomplete, and that stops the clock with 47 seconds. I mean, Andre Reed is a guy who gets double-teamed a lot, and he was opened by 10 yards.
Thurman Thomas was saying, what am I doing being covered by a defensive end? That was William Fuller out there running with him. Even here with the clock stopped, Buffalo will not go into a huddle.
Find that a little strange, Dan? They're having success with it, but you have the opportunity to huddle if you want to.
Meanwhile,
get rid of the panic.
The play whistled dead.
False start. Number 79, correction, 75 and 69, 2 men. It'll still be second.
I think Jim Kelly would have been better advised had he gone into the huddle and calmed things down a little bit as it was. Well, they're moving on the line of scrimmage.
They called both Ballard and Wolford, the 2 tackles, for a false start.
Please reset the clock. Please reset the clock. 47 seconds. 4-7, please.
They're asking for 1 second to be put back on the clock, and there it is.
Jim Kelly's getting a little picky here, isn't he?
Hey, you got to like a referee, though, that says please, right? Good example to the youth of America. He's a please and thank you kind of guy.
2nd and goal from the 13-yard line. That's Reed coming in motion to the inside. Kelly throwing to the back of the end zone, and it's a touchdown, and again it's Keith McKellar.
Kelly put the pressure on with the run, and he spotted McKellar at the back of the end zone, hung it up high, and McKellar went way up and comes down with it.
So it's McKellar for 1 touchdown and Metzelaars for the other tonight, and Buffalo has a chance to take the lead.
And you can see Dishman limping off there from behind. Here comes McKellar from the left of your screen, moving towards the right. He stops, makes a move back to the left, but he stays with it, and that's just a wonderful throw by Jim Kelly and a fine catch. And Dishman continuing to limp. You have to wonder if he's going to make it to the end of this game.
Scott Norwood to kick it. And Buffalo takes the lead. And Norwood is down. Norwood on the turf at the 8-yard line, slow and arising. And Tunney checking him out. That appears none the worse for wear after an initial scare for Marv Levy.
could take just a moment, I'd like to express the sympathies of all of us at ABC, and particularly to those of us who knew him so well. Howard Cosell and his family, this past week, his wife Emmy passed away, and you know how close they were and how long, a wonderful relationship they had. And for all of us who were close to Howard, I want him to know how deeply we feel for him and his family. Shared so many wonderful nights here in the Astrodome. 1978, an incredible football game. 35-30, Houston winning it with Earl Campbell going for a couple hundred yards, and Bob Greasy having one of the great career nights.
First half winding down as Buffalo leads it by a score of 14-13. 40 seconds remaining in the half, and the Houston Oilers have all of their timeouts remaining.
Number 11,
Norwood sends it to the 7-yard line. That's Bernard Ford, Buffalo Bill a couple of years ago, and he gets run out of bounds by Rick Carey, who gives him the business. As who was it Ben Dreith used to say?
15 yards for giving him the business.
33 seconds on the clock. At the half, we'll take a look at Upset Sunday, and it certainly was yesterday, with all 5 division leaders going down to defeat.
And the 6th one on the line right here tonight.
Yep. Buffalo leading the AFC East, but leading this game by a point.
It's the first time that's happened since the merger back in 1970, according to Mr. Univac down there, Steve Hurt.
Yep.
They called a penalty on that run back by Houston, although I certainly didn't see a flag anywhere down on the field. I don't know where it was, but they have spotted the ball back inside the 20-yard line.
I saw Tunney indicate a holding call. Mike was not working, so we didn't catch the number, but it puts him back at the 18-yard line.
Did you see a flag anywhere?
Nope. Texas State flag.
Think he made it up?
Could be. Alan Pinkett is in the game. He's the sole back in this set. Moon. Look out. He gets dumped at the 11-yard line. It's Jeff Wright, the nose tackle, 91.
Good move by Warren Moon, too. Even as he looked downfield, he could have perhaps released that football, but why not take the sack there? If he gets the interception at this point, he's going to give up at least 3 more.
Jeff Wright, the nose tackle, replacing a very popular man in Buffalo, and Fred Smirlis, and he, I think, has earned the respect and the admiration of the Buffalo fans. This guy is a solid football player. Only in his 3rd year and an 8th-round draft choice, he's proving to be a real bargain.
Clock ticking down, and the Oilers will be content just to go into the dressing room down by 1. We've got the end of the half. We've got flags down.
Right, that gun came.
No foul. No foul. The half is over. The half is over.
No foul.
It just looked like a foul.
So our halftime score is Buffalo 14 and Houston 13, and we'll return with halftime activities after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station.
This is the most important line on the field. It's the goal line. And I've got a play that's going to work magic every time we score. I know you're all counting on me. I know every touchdown makes a difference to each and every one of you. We're all part of this club, and we're all part of this team, and most important, we're all part of this community. I'll show you how it works. This is a magical play. Watch and see. Since I teamed up with United Way, for every touchdown I scored during the season, a special group of corporations have pledged to make contributions to help kids cope with tough problems they face growing up in our society today. So far, that's meant more than $47,000 to United Way. I want to thank the people of Buffalo who give to United Way, and especially the corporate leaders who are members of my Jim Kelly United Way End Zone Club. The United Way is a great way to give and a great way to care. United Way brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Who took over during the '86 season watches his team receive the kickoff. Teddy Garcia gets the second half underway. Taken at the 4-yard line by Don Smith. Then he backs out to the 24-yard line. And we'll take a look at the statistics, very indicative of the score, very even.
Key thing there, though, I think for Houston, you see the yardage advantage. Keep in mind a couple of mistakes took some points off the board. One holding call brought a touchdown back out, and they had to settle for a field goal. And another time Houston was deep in Buffalo territory and settled for a field goal where a touchdown looked like it was going to happen. So right now I think Buffalo fortunate to have the lead the way Houston has moved the football.
Almost the story of the Houston Oilers season, however, Dan.
You're right.
First down from the 25-yard line. That's a tipped pass intended for Mueller. Ray Childress got a hand on it.
They've been able to move the ball up and down the field all year long, and then they have been trouble every time they get it in close.
Haven't heard a lot from Childress so far in this game. One of the fine defensive linemen in the game. John Davis, the big right guard, working on Childress. They're right at the right of our screen. Watch the left hand come up, and he just gets a digit on it.
Davis, a former Houston Oiler.
Second and 10 from the 25. Here's Mueller going nowhere, and there is Childress making another play.
Ray's been having such a fine year for the Oilers. There have been several articles written about Ray, comparing him to the great Bob Lilly, and Childress obviously is embarrassed about that sort of a comparison. He hasn't really played this game long enough, 6 years in the NFL, and he's got a sense of history, and he knows even to be mentioned in the same breath with the high sheriff, Bob Lilly, is a little overwhelming. But he's a good one, real good.
He may be embarrassed, but his agent will be taking those articles into the next contract negotiation.
I think he might have written them. They were awful glowing.
Kelly changing the play.
Play clock down to 1, and they just get it off, and they snap it to Smith. And Smith breaks a tackle and may have the first down. Let's see where they spot it. You can see where the marker is, and if they put it there, it is a first down.
Boy, what a
good call by Kelly. You
job.
saw him read the blitz and change the play at the line of scrimmage. And defensively, the Oilers themselves should have changed out of it, because obviously Kelly knew what they were going to come with, and they had a very successful play call.
But look at this. I mean, Kent Hull, the center, he's not even looking. He's not even looking at Smith. A fine hole inside, and he breaks the tackle right there of Johnny Meads and keeps on his feet. But I think that started with Kent Hull, a blind snap to Don Smith.
First down from the 35-yard line, a little swing out to Mueller. And Jamie takes it up to the 37-yard line. He is stopped by Sean Jones.
That's good hustle there by Jones, the defensive end, coming upfield and trying to block the pass and then falling back off and making a tackle. It's not often you see a defensive end with that kind of hustle.
Bills back out here offensively in the second half, going back to what they wanted to do at the very beginning of this game. That is control the ball on the ground, do high percentage stuff, run the clock, get the points up there, but keep the offensive unit of the Houston Oilers off the field.
Second and 8. Tunney signals time here. By the way, we started this half with a look at Dishman on the sideline. He is not in. It's Steve Brown playing the corner. And the whistle is because Sean Jones needs some medical attention.
Sean Jones was just standing up ready for the play to begin, and then just went down on his knees.
I think you might have to hope that's a cramp. He acted much like it was a cramp. Dishman, he actually was hurt in the first quarter and was able to continue playing throughout the first half. Now he's on the sidelines.
Oilers have been remarkably injury-free this season. That's something that happens with most successful teams, even though the Oilers' record is a mediocre 5-5. In Pardis' first year, he's been able to keep most of his lineup intact on both sides of the ball. There, however, is Steve Brown, who was a long-time starter at corner and then lost his job to Dishman in training camp.
And this is one of the defensive improvements the Oilers feel that
not a good
they
sign
have
there.
made this year. That's at the corner with Richard Johnson and Chris Dishman, and that's not a good sign when you start taking off the armor.
Second and 8. So the Oilers are minus some key people right now. Jones and Dishman and Doug Smith, who's inactive tonight. And the pass is incomplete, intended for James Lofton, who in his 13th season in the league is averaging a scintillating 20 yards a carry, and that's a real bad sign for Buffalo. Andre Reed, who came into the game with a bad ankle anyway, limps off.
And that is his bad ankle, that left ankle. Boy, you can see the frustration. A man who's been struggling for weeks to play through that injury and is still the leading receiver by far on this Buffalo squad. A team that is short on wide receivers is now dangerously short. Don Beebe's in the game, I see.
Yep. Beebe and Al Edwards both.
Beebe has blazing speed, but he certainly is not Andre Reed.
Third and 8. Kelly fires, and it's broken up. Intended for, and the flag is dropped. Richard Johnson interferes with James Lofton.
Well, he grabbed Lofton by the arm to reach around for the deflection, and the official was right on top of it.
Well, Johnson's mistake, Frank, and see if you agree, is that he's going both hands.
Pass interference.
Richard Johnson appears to be wrapping both his hands around the waist of the receiver rather than playing through to the ball.
Watch the right hand.
I mean, if you're going to grab a guy like that, granted it is close, but Johnson has to understand what it looks like to the official.
There's the right hand before the ball gets there.
Yeah.
He does bat it away, but you cannot make contact with that receiver unless you're playing the ball before the ball gets there.
And the official who called it is behind Johnson. That was the look he saw.
That's a first down. Here's a little option toss to Thurman Thomas, a 3-yard pickup. He's out of bounds at the 46. Run out by Johnny Meads.
Pardee still upset by that call, and granted, it was
a major call.
It was razor thin, but that is the look that back judge had. He saw that right hand of Richard Johnson's beginning to wrap around the receiver.
Second and 7 at the 46-yard line. Lofton left and Beebe right. Mueller and Thomas in the backfield with Kelly. Thurman Thomas threads his way through, but not very far. Stopped at the 45-yard line by Bubba McDowell, the safety. That's going to set up a 3rd and 6 with 11.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Buffalo ahead by a point.
Andre Reed coming back into the lineup, that he does appear as though he's limping a little bit. Dan, I know you probably had a sprained ankle, perhaps you too, Al, but when they start to get well, you play on it and all of a sudden you hurt it again, you're tearing adhesions or whatever, but you seem to always be able to get back into it.
He is split to the left on 3rd and 6, and Kelly goes underneath to Don Smith, and the third down specialist does it again. Takes it to the 33-yard line. The unheralded Don Smith, picked up as a Plan B acquisition from Tampa Bay, and as an unsung guy in this Buffalo offense, has done some job this year.
What a nice move. He put on a would-be tackler, a little head bob. There he just drifts out of the backfield. No, he's secondary receiver. No one to pick up. There's no blitz. And there is Johnny Meads, who just was left looking for you know what. And it was on the carpet.
1st and 10 from the 33. Here's Thomas behind Mueller. And Thurman Thomas picks up about 7. Al Smith, number 54, makes the stop.
Al Smith, a guy that we haven't been talking a lot about tonight, but he is a guy who has settled in there at that middle linebacker position for Houston. John Grimsley has been the guy that's been in the middle, but Grimsley a holdout this year, and Al Smith has settled in, and Pardee and his staff could not be happier about the play of this young guy. Number 54 is going to be clogging the middle for the Oilers for a long time to come.
Meanwhile, Buffalo is, we look at offensive coordinator Teddy Marchibroda, is quietly picking the seconds off here in the third quarter.
9.5 to go. They need 3, and they picked up those 3 and about 4 more on a completion to Lofton to the 18-yard line. He is stopped there by Brown. You know, we saw Ted Marchibroda. People still think Buffalo has a very conservative offense, but you go back to last year, only the 49ers and the Rams scored more points in the entire league, and this year Buffalo has scored more points per game than any team in the league.
Well, what they have is what everyone would like to have offensively, and that is balance. I mean, they have the skilled passing game. They have the people like Lofton and Andre Reed, but they still have the weapons like Thurman Thomas and Don Smith and Mueller running the football. A tremendously balanced offensive team.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Kelly going for 6. Too deep, intended for Reed, who is covered by Brown.
Interesting connection. What comes around goes around, they say, in pro football. But Teddy Marchibroda, who we saw a moment ago, Marv Levy, and Jack Pardee, all were disciples literally of George Allen when they were all at the Rams together. And Marchibroda coached, as did Marv Levy. Then they went to the Washington Redskins, where Jack Pardee was an all-pro linebacker, as he was with the Rams, and we were laughing about it tonight. And Teddy Marchibroda said, how about George Allen? 6-5 this year with Long Beach State.
Yep.
But they were all together at one time or another, and it indeed does come around and go around.
2nd and 10. This is the opening drive of the second half, as Kelly throws behind the intended tight end, Keith McKellar. The intended receiver couldn't hold on the errant throw by Kelly, and we have 8:35 to go in the third. 3rd and 10.
You can see every player as they walk back to the huddle glance up at the video replay screen here in the Astrodome. These guys are getting their film work in early. You know, it's a real tool for these players to be able to. You can see it up there at the top. It's a real tool for these players to be able to look at that thing as they walk back to the huddle.
3rd and 10 at the 17. Blitz. Sack. Johnny Meade.
Oh, and what a time to have the call. 5 receivers out, and the count just didn't match up. They didn't have enough people to pick him up.
It wasn't because Thurman Thomas didn't step up and make a great block, but just we bring more than you've got. Look at Meads here at the bottom. Watch Thurman Thomas step up in here and make this block. He gets Al Smith. Look at Smith go upside down, but I'm afraid they accounted for everybody except one, and there just wasn't anybody to block Meads.
That turns a 35-yard field goal attempt into a 43-yard attempt. Scott Norwood. And it is good. Scott Norwood tacks on 3 as the Bills extend their lead to 4 on the opening drive of the third quarter.
This is the Chevrolet Caprice. It has the highest highway mileage of any V8-powered car in its class. In fact, its V8 fuel economy challenges that of many smaller V6s. So when it comes to preserving a natural resource, you can make a beautiful contribution. A 1991 Chevrolet Caprice. Prepare to be impressed. And now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
Yes?
Our guests are arriving. When will you be here?
Almost finished.
Okay, but hurry.
That'll do it. Got the report done for the office.
The Tandy 1000 TL2, powerful enough for business, affordable and easy enough for the whole family. Specially priced for Christmas, save $200. Only at Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares for Christmas shopping.
I'm your #1 fan. I'll take good care of you. My name is Annie Wilkes.
Guess it was kind of a miracle you finding me.
In a way, I was following you.
You were following me.
I think one of my clients, Paul Sheldon, might be in some kind of trouble.
Eventually, you'll come to accept the idea of being here.
Annie, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
Trust me.
God, thanks.
It's for the best.
Misery, rated R. Starts Friday at select theaters.
Wow, it's the Big Four Classic. Indiana versus Louisville, Kentucky versus Notre Dame. Two unbelievable games, both back-to-back.
ABC's college basketball gets uncaged Saturday.
Good personal friend of Dan's, Bob Young, Tom Banks, Dan Deerdorf, and four members, Conrad Dobler,
and Roger Finney.
4 of them to the Pro Bowl in the year in which the Cardinals allowed the fewest sacks. What, 7?
Yep, 8. And, you know, Bobby's been with Pardee for a long time. He was with Pardee with the Gamblers, followed him then to the University of Houston, and now getting his first crack at coaching an offensive line in the big show, the NFL.
Norwood's kick taken at the 5-yard line. Gerald McNeil brings it back to the 20 and gets buried by Steve Tasker, among others.
And they're still going at it. A fracas.
Mild fracas.
Maybe someone is glued. Oh, now we're still going to push and shove here.
And it's Marcus Patton, rookie out of UCLA, making his presence felt to a degree. Take a timeout here with 7:54 to go, third quarter.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
The day you bring home your first new car is like no other day. And the first car more people bring home is Chevy Cavalier. That's why more people are winning with
The heartbeat of America.
And now it's easy to win with an efficient new Cavalier.
Merry Christmas. Hey, who's this?
Season's eatings from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I love this guy. How did you know we wanted a holiday meal? He's got a list.
Now get a holiday bucket of chicken, a party-sized bucket of hot wings, or a holiday meal, each for just $9.99.
So, really, what do we owe you?
Two NFL division leaders meet in one of the biggest games of the year. It's the clash of the Titans, the Giants, and the 49ers. Next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
How much do you remember about your favorite television show? Let Alan Thicke test your TV IQ. Take the tube test Wednesday, 10 Eastern, 9 Central here on ABC. A week from tonight, Candlestick Park is the venue. The Giants and the 49ers each come in 10-1. Best game of the regular season coming your way. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific next Monday. Here's Moon on first down from the 20. And it is number 78, Bruce Smith, who gets him back at the 15.
Call that a coverage sack. Good coverage downfield. Warren Moon with the little quick roll to the right. Brought it up, was going to fire, and no one was open. He pulled it down, and Bruce Smith was all over him. And they had to have this kind of game from Bruce Smith tonight.
Well, Bruce gets his second sack of the evening, and it's really just a hustle sack. Goes upfield and comes in the back door.
Right there, Moon wants to deliver it.
See, Maggs really did a pretty decent job of running Bruce all the way upfield. Warren really wasn't even contemplating throwing the ball there. If Bruce wouldn't have gotten him, someone else would have.
2nd and 16 from the 15-yard line. Moon throwing his 10th pass of the game. It's caught by Lorenzo White, who takes it out, and flag goes down. 2, in fact, make it a 3rd now. 3 different flags are out at the 23-yard line.
Well, I think we've got a clip. I think Jay Pennison, the center, clipped out in the open. I thought definitely hit his guy from behind.
Might have 2 separate fouls here. Two of them came out at once, and then there was a very late flag.
Offsetting fouls, personal foul, number 46 defense, illegal block in the back, number 52 offense. Fouls will offset. We'll replay the down.
Leonard Smith with the personal foul. Pennison just told you what he thought about the call on him.
Well, Leonard Smith's foul was away from the play. There's Pennison there in the upper right, and you can see him hit Shane Conlon square in the back and knock him to the ground. That's the illegal block.
That was about the worst clip I've ever seen. That is the clip.
Yeah, I don't think that Shane really gave him much in the way of hitting him in the front. Only 6 completions, but a lot of yards.
He has 3 300-yard games in a row.
Yep.
Looking for, what, an 8th for the season?
8th for the year. 9 is the record. Dan Marino.
Well, he's going to have to get on it tonight.
Yep. What's amazing, in 2.5 quarters in the run and shoot, you've only thrown a total of 9 passes. 2nd and 16 from the 15. He's also been sacked thrice. Moon throws, and it's caught out at the 30-yard line, and very close to a first down is Drew Hill.
You mentioned Drew Hill coming from the Rams. When he was with the Rams for 5 years, he only had 60 receptions, and he came into tonight after 6 years here with over 370 receptions. Former Don Klosterman 12th round pick with the Rams. He finds the first down yardage, and he's very close to it. Will they get it?
No. It's 3rd and inches. 6:39 to go, 3rd quarter. Buffalo leading 17-13. Bills seeking their 9th consecutive win. Oilers trying to move into a 3-way tie for first in the AFC Central.
They better hustle. They're down to a couple seconds there.
2, 1, Moon straight ahead and has it. Out to the 32-yard line. Play selection for Houston, a passing team, of course, with the run and shoot, but tonight a lot of balance thus far. In fact, it can't get any more balance like that. Coming into the game, the run-pass ratio had been 30-70. There it is. 30 runs to 70 passes.
Well, the other thing you notice there, they've only run 26 plays this whole game.
Buffalo's had the football. They've had it half of this quarter.
From the 32, Moon, wide open is Hill, and Hagee runs him out of bounds, but not until he picks up 15 and a first down to the 47.
Whenever they've been able to get the football away from the Buffalo Bills offense, they've been able to move it. Unfortunately, and it's been kind of a characteristic of the Oilers, when they've gotten the ball in close, they've not been able to score. And here is Hill wide open across the middle against the Bills' zone defense this time, as the Bills continue to show a lot of different defensive fronts. They're in and out of the zone. They'll zone on one side, man on the 3-man side, and they keep changing it almost with every play.
4 catches for Drew Hill for 52 yards. 5:20 to go, 3rd quarter. Bills by 4. White. A hard-earned 4 as he crosses the 50, gets to the 49-yard line, stopped by Mark Pike. That's 9 carries, 90 yards for Lorenzo White, who twice in his career, make it once, has been over 100. That was against the Steelers last year. And one other time, 97. So already it's the 3rd biggest night of his career. Second and 6 at the 49. White runs into his own man and can't get started, and a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Bennett makes the tackle. Jim Tunney tells us it is against the Bills. Offside. Now Tunney's going to check with
defense. Offside. Lined up to neutral zone. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
We didn't see any movement, but obviously Bruce is the one that lined up offside.
Bruce is certainly complaining about it. It's very difficult to tell. You can see the line of scrimmage coming right down here. You see that right arm of Bruce Smith. he was certainly acting like it was his fault, at least.
Yep. We've seen a lot worse than that all season long. That hasn't been called. 2nd and 1. And on 2nd and 1, Moon goes deep, and a great catch stopped at the 1-yard line. Drew Hill.
What a superbly thrown pass.
It had to be perfect. I mean, that's not bad coverage. They're zoning over there.
A wonderful pass by Warren Moon.
Dwight Green and Nate Odoms. There is Odoms, 37. Green is coming over into the hole. That's twice this combination has been burned tonight.
If you just drop this in on a string, it couldn't have been more perfect than it was right here.
And what concentration on the part of the veteran, Drew Hill.
Until that moment, the Bills were the only team in the league to not allow a play of 40 yards or more this season. That's a first, and it's 1st and goal, and here is White, and White tries to burrow his way in and does. Touchdown.
This time they stick it in.
Good work up front. Munchak, Pennison, Matthews. They just rooted the Buffalo Bills out of there back into the end zone, and Lorenzo just really follows these guys in. Good cut to the backside. But the long pass from Moon to Drew Hill. Boy, this offense can explode at any time.
Teddy Garcia to try to put him up by 3. Moon on that drive was 3 for 3 on the night. He is 9 for 12. Once again, the Oilers and the Bills having at it as they've done for 31 years. 2 charter members of the old American Football League.
You'll never see it timed out any better. Perfectly thrown ball. Great concentration. Drew Hill.
Looks like an Al Michaels pass.
No, it spiraled.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Tony Zendejas of the Oilers attempts a 37-yard field goal, which is partially blocked by the Bills and fielded at the 25 by Mark Kelso, who returns the missed field goal attempt for an apparent touchdown. Now you make the call. Is this a touchdown?
If you want to do more than one thing at the same time, don't expect an ordinary computer to get the jobs done. But an IBM PS2 with microchannel can crunch numbers, search files, share information, revise graphics all at once. With microchannel, a PS2 can work harder than ordinary computers, so you can get many things done at the same time without going to pieces. To be more productive, how are you going to do it? PS2 it.
What call did you make? A defensive player who gains possession of a missed field goal, blocked or otherwise, can legally advance it, in this case for a touchdown.
Seems to me a new car warranty should cover the entire car for many miles. Now take Ford Taurus. Its basic warranty ends at just 12,000 miles. But the basic warranty on the new Cutlass Supreme goes a bit farther.
Like from New York to L.A., back to New York to L.A., to New York to L.A., to New York to L.A., New York to L.A., to New York to L.A., to New York. Plus a trip to Anchorage, Alaska.
Cutlass Supreme with its bumper-to-bumper plus warranty. Here's one car that does it all and does it right. Hey, Dad.
This is the new generation of old.
Sunday, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a human time bomb, and he's set to blow. Commando, Sunday.
As we come back, Don Smith downs the kickoff in the end zone. Beach balls flying around the Astrodome, and it will be a first down at the 20-yard line. Drew Hill, along with Hayward Jeffries, 2 of them having a laugh over that 43-yard reception.
And it brought out the pom-poms and a little excitement here in the Astrodome.
Those receptions by Hill now give the Oilers 3 receivers with more than 50 receptions.
3:08 remaining in the third.
This is how the roomy new Cutlass Supreme SL looks after traveling 300 highway miles on just 10 gallons of gas. And this is how Honda Accord looks after the same challenge. Well, if it hadn't run out of gas 20 miles back, you'd see that it's smaller and it's blue. Next trip, Dad, it's yours. Who says you can't get great gas mileage in a roomy, comfortable car? Cutlass Supreme is one car that does it all and does it right.
This is the new generation of old.
Chris Berman for Bud Bowl Update. It's been almost a year since that controversial fumble gave Budweiser the win in Bud Bowl 2. Bud Light has struck back by making quarterback sensation Bud Dry its top draft choice. Big and bold with that rifle arm. Bud Dry is the coolest thing to hit the PFL since Budway Joe. Will Bud Dry sign in time for Bud Bowl 3? Bud Bowl Update will keep you informed as this all-important story develops.
It's almost like cheating. You get a good shave, and you don't get the negative side effects. I'm very pleased with the Norelco. It's close. I don't have any, no stubble, feels like a baby's butt.
Now, Norelco's patented lift and cut system has been improved to lift each hair and cut it even closer without the blades touching your skin.
The idea of shaving is to get a smooth appearance, smooth skin. And if you're going to do it, you might as well be comfortable doing it.
The new Norelco, a new level of closeness and comfort.
O.A. Phillips is that man's name.
Talked to him before the game, and I said, well, we run into your boy a few times this year. Speaking of Wade, of course, the defensive coordinator, he said, God bless old Wade. He's having a time of it up there, isn't he?
Yeah. Bum Phillips does radio down here in Houston. And talk about color. I bet it is good color.
You bet. I think it's 7-second delay. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, and the catch is made out at the 40-yard line amongst a trio of Oilers is James Lofton to pull it in. And we mentioned that Lofton is averaging about 20 yards a catch this season, and he picks up 20 here.
The big man can still take it across the middle and keep his eye on the football, too. You know you're going to get hammered when you go up for this one. He looks it right in, hugs it to the body, does not catch it with the hands where he could lose it, and comes down with it.
Well, James has to step to the front here a little bit with Andre Reed being slowed with that ankle. A lot of pressure now on James Lofton.
There's Lofton, only man 34 or older, averaging 20 yards a catch. The other, Harold Jackson. Thurman Thomas threads his way for 7 out to the 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 3. Jack Pardee, remember he coached the Bears and the Redskins. He's been the coach of the year in the Old World Football League, in the NFL, in the United States Football League, and he was the coach of the year in the Southwest Conference when he headed up the Houston Cougars.
And All-Pro with the Rams, All-American fullback, and of course All-Pro with the Washington Redskins. Quite a career.
2nd and 3 from the 47. Thomas again seeking that first down and should have it.
He also sent a Heisman Trophy present up to the Detroit Lions this year. Andre Ware, guy that ran that high-powered offense at the University of Houston last year. It's pretty nice. Jack was saying it's okay to have all these different jobs, and I never even had to move out of my house.
That's true. Just come across town.
3 coaching jobs in the same city.
Yep.
That's tough to duplicate.
Pardee here, of course, and Jim Kelly was going wild in the run and shoot in the USFL. 1st and 10 at the 49. Kelly to Thomas. He gets to the 46. That's a gain of 3. Jones makes the tackle. We have a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Oilers holding on 20-17. These two teams we mentioned, charter members, AFL. They came into the league in '60 and still owned by the same men who got into the league for $25,000. That was the investment made by Ralph Wilson of Buffalo and Bud Adams of Houston.
I can tell you they lost a lot more in the next few years. Because it took a lot of staying power.
Of course, those franchises today are worth in excess of $100 million. So it all worked out in the end.
Not a bad return. 2nd and 7 from the 46. Here's Thomas, and he is stopped at the 47 for a loss of 1. Ray Childress breaks the play up, and that's going to write a finish to the 3rd quarter. So the Bills and the Oilers having added again a good one, as was the case in 1989 when they went to overtime.
A rapidly paced contest.
But the Bills have been very tough in the final period this season, averaging 12.8 points in the fourth quarter per game. And we'll be back for the fourth after this word from our ABC station.
Is Dan having an affair?
Dan,
It's my wife.
wake up!
Roseanne! Then is Luther moving in?
What? I hope you two will be as happy as Ethel and I were here.
Coach Tuesday.
An average American home, but lurking within lie millions of uninvited guests. See The Secret Life of 118 Green Street on World of Discovery, Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Along with highlights from tonight's game with the Bills and the Oilers, we've got the rest of the day in news, and Tom Joles has the AccuWeather forecast. All that coming up after the game.
Come on and take your hat off, Mr. Tall, Blonde, and Smooth. Come on and slide on down. It's time to make your move. Mr. Golden Boy, you turn my head around. Pouring on the chalk, come on and slide on down. Slide down over here. Bartender, buy that man a Miller beer.
If I won $25,000 in the 9X Yellow Pages sweepstakes, I would go to the finest restaurant in Paris. All you have to do to win is know the heading of the day and its page number. The heading could be anything. Plumbers, hairstylists, linoleum dealers. I bet I could even go to Paris with a heading like reptiles.
We're announcing a different heading every day, and we're calling thousands of people, so be prepared.
You can save a life. Find out how tonight after the Bills game.
Talked about Ralph Wilson, one of the original owners, and Bud Adams. And, of course, these guys have owned their teams for 31 seasons, but neither has been to the Super Bowl.
And what a vote of confidence he gave Marv Levy early on. Al talked earlier about all the problems that took place with the Miami game, that they lost by 30-7, and there was all kinds of indications that the team is going to fall back into the problems that have besieged them over the past. A lot of bickering, a lot of fighting. He came in and said, Marv Levy is the boss. Anyone who doesn't agree with that can get out of here.
There are the teams listed there, the 10 of them that have not been to the Super Bowl. We start the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 7, and Kelly has to dump it off for Smith, and Don Smith nearly breaks loose, but doesn't. Comes up a couple of yards shy of the first down. It was William Fuller and Childress in on it. Let's take another look one more time at that graphic showing you the teams that haven't been there. The Bills and the Oilers, and there are their records right now. And, of course, it's well noted the Browns, historically noted as the best team never to get there, and they're not going to come close this year either. Cleveland at 2-9 at this point. Rick Tootin to kick on 4th down. Fair catch called for and made by McNeil at the 11. Moon and the Oilers have it deep in their own territory as we have started the fourth quarter.
The facts speak for themselves. From personal to advanced full color, America's most popular copier is Canon. Call toll-free 1-800-OK-CANNON.
The 10-1 New York Giants, the 10-1 San Francisco 49ers, the almost perfect matchup next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
This weekend, JCPenney Golf Classic on ABC Sports. Final round Sunday, 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific. Pat Bradley, Chi-Chi Rodriguez, Nancy Lopez, Paul Azinger, some of the top men and women golfers in the world in the JCPenney Golf Classic this Sunday. 14-14 remaining in regulation. Oilers lead 20-17, and they have the ball at their own 11, 1st and 10. Warren Moon starts with a draw to Lorenzo White. He picks up a couple. And we have a flag down at the line of scrimmage. An illegal motion call against Houston. Numbers through 3. Oilers holding the edge in total yardage. Rushing for more and passing for more as well.
2 men in motion, penalty is declined. It'll be 2nd down. 2nd down.
2 men in motion was the call. And they take the play, do the Bills, a gain of 1, making it 2nd down and 9.
Why not? Instead of 1st and 15, 2nd and 10 is so much better against this offense.
Sure. Give them 1 less play. Second and 9 from the 12. The blitz. Moon gets the pass away. It's caught by Givens. Nice little spin move. That's the 1st down and a lot more, and he's wrestled down by Leonard Smith.
An excellent blitz adjustment by Ernest Givens. Warren Moon doesn't have any trouble seeing it coming, but Ernest Givens, he sees the blitz to his inside, immediately breaks off his pattern. Dwight Drain then misses the tackle on a nifty move back to the inside of the field by Givens. That's just fine coordination between a receiver and quarterback, and Buffalo gambled and lost.
And of course, it's nice to have a 5'9", 172-pound receiver up against a free safety that goes 6 feet, or rather 6'3" and about 205.
You just can't believe how many receivers in this game, though, don't read that blitz and don't alter their pattern.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Bennett comes in from the backside, but they take care of him. It's tipped, and then it's caught, and then it is dropped and incomplete. In and out of Drew Hill's hands, and ruled an incomplete pass after all that.
David Poole, playing in that short zone, got a hand on it, I think. That's a deflection right there, and good hands by Drew Hill, but he can't hold on to it. Almost manages with the feet.
Good hands, good feet. Yeah.
Yeah, the deflection by Poole really, I think, alters not only the course of the ball, but the concentration of Hill, who still almost caught it.
2nd and 10 from the 33. Delay again. White exploits the hole again and takes it out to the 49-yard line, and that'll put him up and over 100. Lorenzo White, remember when the season began, they had 4 good running backs: Highsmith, Rozier, Pinkett, and this man. And as he emerged tonight.
But again, it's that man-for-man defense that Dan was talking about it early in the game. There is no one up there to tackle him after he goes through the line of scrimmage because they are all running with the receivers.
It's one of the oldest plays in football. It's just the old sprint draw. There's Walt Corey, Buffalo's defensive coordinator, and I'd be chewing away too.
106 yards on the night for White. 1st down from the 48-yard line, and you can add about 7 more to that 106. As I said, 4 running backs when the season began. Highsmith eventually went to Dallas. They got rid of Rozier and his big salary, and Glanville picked him up in Atlanta. So they're now down to White and Pinkett. And of course, when you go to the run and shoot, you don't need a lot of running backs, and you need no tight ends.
And that was Pinkett on the sidelines. There was, like I said, a hue and cry for him to get more action. He played well last week against Cleveland, but tonight it has been Lorenzo White who came in tonight with just a little over 300 yards total for the season, and he's already over 100 yards.
2nd and 4 at the 46. 11:40 to go. Moon slings it to the outside, and it's out of bounds. It was caught by Tony Jones, but he was on the chalk.
Yeah, look at Tony Jones, and you really wonder what's going on in this game. He's 5'7", 139 pounds, the rookie out of Texas. Look at the arm on Warren Moon. He just fires that. No setup. But he does get it late, and it's incomplete. There he is. He is a small one.
Never thought I'd see the day when Gerald McNeil would look bigger than another player on the field. And yesterday, the two of them were playing a little catch on the sideline, and McNeil noticeably bigger than Jones.
3rd and 4 from the 46-yard line, and a little dump-off screen to White, who went down to one knee, and by the time he regains his balance and thrusts forward, he is a little bit short of the first down. Stopped by Leonard Smith.
Well, here's an interesting thing. We talked about the run and shoot offense. Jack Pardee does not have a tight end. And so if you want to go on 4th and 1, I don't know what you go with.
You go with 4 wide receivers.
4 wide receivers on 4th and short. They haven't punted yet tonight, so why break the pattern?
Ball is at the 42. It's 4th and inches. 11 minutes to go. Oilers lead 20-17.
And Warren says, I want to talk this over, Coach.
Yep. And Jack Pardee, you know what George Allen would do right here. Never a doubt. He would punt the football. You would not put your defense in a perilous position on this side of the 40-yard line. You would punt the ball and make them go 80 yards or more for a touchdown.
Very interesting. I think Jack had called the play, sent it in, and I think it was Warren Moon who decided, hey, let's talk this over.
Yeah, the body language on the sideline indicated he was going to go for it. Meanwhile, they can request and get a measurement, which they do. Then it's a charged timeout. This is a Houston timeout and a measurement as well.
If I was a coach, I would go out there with my offensive team, line them up on the ball, let the quarterback bark about 12 signals, try to get a guy across the line of scrimmage, give the center instructions that if somebody comes across, go ahead and snap it.
Take the 5-yard penalty.
And if you take the 5-yard penalty, it really puts your punter in even a more desirable position than he was before.
Of course, that's what the Buffalo Bills are talking over the sideline. They're saying, hey, they're going to come out. They're going to try and draw us offside.
Now, the other side of that is I'm asking a coach who employs the run and shoot to use a conservative game plan. I don't know if it's possible.
4th and inches, ball at the 42.
This is a play where if you get it, you're a hero.
White behind Moon. Givens in motion. Moon himself has it.
Easy.
To the 40-yard line to keep the drive going.
Well, it certainly appeared that the surge was there easily enough, and I guess what Jack Pardee is saying, he's got an awful lot of confidence in those two hosses he's got at guards, Bruce Matthews and Mike Munchak.
We want to stand corrected on something. Kenny Wolf checking with the sideline here. They did not charge Houston with a timeout. That was the slowest, longest measurement that enabled the Oilers not only to decide what they wanted to do, go for it or not, but to play as well.
Clever by Moon. He walked over to the sidelines, and when he got there, he turned to them and said, I want you to measure.
Amazing. I've never seen that. First down from the 40-yard line. Moon, and it's dropped at the 37-yard line. It was a full 30 seconds before they even brought the sticks in that time.
Well, there is a classic look at a receiver, and a good receiver with over 50 receptions, taking his eye off that football before it got there and thinking run before he had the ball tucked away. And this Givens, and those are the ones you'll dream about.
2nd and 10. Houston at the 40. 10 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Oilers on top, 20-17. Moon to Hill. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Leonard Smith with the tackle.
Leonard Smith, a safety whose specialty is really riding a tight end and coming up on run support, one of the hardest hitting strong safeties in the game of football, and he's kind of out of his element here in this run and shoot offense, trying to chase his receivers around. He's not a strong coverage guy, Frank.
You know, we asked Marv Levy about that last night. What are you going to do with Leonard Smith, and what if he gets locked up on one of those little guys that Walt Corey has called flies? And he said, well, we'll try and avoid it. We're going to try and use him up occasionally in the blitz and against the run. But that time he got hung up with the little man and was beaten convincingly.
Then he hurt him.
Yep. Hill holding his forearm, comes out. Harris comes in. 3rd and 3. At the 33, Smith had his hands around the feet of Moon, but he gets it off to White inside the 10, out of bounds at the 6.
Whoa, and Lorenzo White is having some night.
And Bruce, that was neither grasp nor control.
Lorenzo White turns a 3 or 4 yard pass, and again, it was man-to-man coverage. All the defenders running with receivers. We'll take a look first at Bruce Smith.
Again, that upfield rush that Bruce has been taking all night, and watch him snare an ankle there.
Now, there is man-to-man coverage deep. There is not a defender in sight because they are running with the receivers.
Watch Ernest Gibbons get up here and throw a block. Good work. A little guy trying to hustle for his running back.
1st and goal. At the 5, Moon hands it to White. Takes it to the 4. It'll be 2nd and goal. Stopped by Jeff Wright in the middle.
And Jack Pardee's gamble to go for it on 4th down appears to be paying off big time.
Well, this is where Houston now has to cash in. And again, we talked about it earlier. The bugaboo this season for them has been, once they're inside the 20, getting it into the end zone.
I think one of the motivating factors was the fact that Buffalo has been able to put together those long drives that used up so much time off the clock. Beginning of the 3rd quarter, they went almost 8 minutes with the football. And Jack Pardee says, hey, we don't need that again. Let's take the gamble, and it's paid off.
2nd and goal. They've got Pinkett in there as the running back now.
Look at that. They got 4 wide receivers.
Play clock is down to 2. Pinkett, he gets tripped up after a gain of 1. It was, I believe, Bennett who got a hand on his ankle.
It's very difficult to run wide with the run and shoot offense without a tight end. It's just almost impossible. And consequently, everything pinches down, as Bennett did right there, and he's right in the middle of the play.
That proves that you can still make a tackle even though you were tackled by an offensive guard. Bruce Matthews just horse-collared Cornelius Bennett. Bennett's still able to make the tackle. Matthews got away with a pretty good hold there.
Now, they've almost got to put the ball up. Now, the defenders, as you can see, are right up now on top of the receivers.
Givens comes in motion. 3 receivers going out on the left and 1 on the right. And Moon on 3rd and goal. Throws, caught in traffic in the end zone by Leonard Harris.
And Haywood Jeffries made the tackle.
That looked like a convention in the back of the end zone, and somehow or other Moon got it in there.
Now, what would you call this pattern? Mass confusion, organized confusion.
It's a good thing it worked.
Crazy
heads would have fallen in when they looked at the videos.
Well, I'll tell you what else worked. They double-team Bruce Smith. If somebody doesn't come out from the inside and hit Bruce Smith, he's going to get a sack. Check this out to the left side of the screen. It's Jay Pennison that comes out and cuts Smith, or he's going to make that sack. Just an alert job by Warren Moon, staying alive in the pocket.
Teddy Garcia tacks on the extra point.
So many individual components of a given play.
And a drive.
Yep. A lineman comes out and does a little more than he was expected to. A guy holds his block for an extra half a second. A receiver keeps hustling. And a quarterback with all the skill in the world does what he's been doing all year.
And a coach says go for it on 4th down.
Wild thing. It is a wild thing. Oh, come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine. As long as you just make it fine.
The good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
Wild thing. La,
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
What is the perfect holiday gift?
Time to shop.
Clothes? Jewelry? Or dinner? Now you can have it all.
I want the fairy tale.
It's the perfect gift to give this holiday. Pretty Woman on video cassette.
He needs 35.
Warren Moon guiding the Oilers down the field, converts on a 4th down himself, pays off with a touchdown pass to Harris. Houston leads by 10. This is Don Smith taking the kick at the 8 and run out of bounds by Orlando without Dawn up at the 28-yard line.
Good call, Tony.
Right. Warren Moon, so he's completed 70% of his attempts. His average is better than 13 yards per pass attempt. 2 touchdowns.
And the Bills find themselves in a very familiar position that they've been in several times this year, having to pull one out late in the game. We've already showed you that they have led the NFL in scoring points in the 4th quarter. They lead it with 128. But they have won, what, 4 games in the 4th quarter late this year?
They've had some miracle finishes. First down, Kelly throws, and they begin this little hope for a miracle with a pass to Smith, and Don Smith goes all the way to the Houston 36-yard line.
Boy, has this guy really been a factor in this game? Don Smith, who really lives in the shadow of Thurman Thomas, emerging here tonight. You know, this guy's got skills, especially receiving skills out of the backfield, but he's making an impact tonight for Buffalo.
39-yard gain and no huddle. First down at the 36-yard line. Kelly going deep. Beebe's out in front, but he leads them a yard too much.
Oh, that was 6.
He'd gotten by Patrick Allen.
And he represents the speed for the wide receivers of the Buffalo Bills. And that time, Kelly just off the fingertips. And he had him. He was by Patrick Allen, and Kelly led him to the outside. Perhaps if he had led inside, he might have had a better chance to get it.
2nd and 10. Kelly throws it out to Reed, who gets taken out of bounds by Johnson and Brown.
I tell you, it's a great pass. Reed was covered as well as you're ever going to cover a wide receiver in that situation, and Kelly just made him catch it.
That puts the ball at the 29-yard line. 6:07 remaining. 4th quarter. 3rd and 2. Kelly throws. It's caught by Reed. That's a first down. He takes it to the 23-yard line.
And look at Andre Reed. I mean, here is a guy that's got a bad ankle, been out of the game once or twice. They go to the sidelines, and he catches a pass like that, and he caught it for first down yardage, and yet rather than go down, tries to stay alive and make something happen. That guy could play on my team any day.
First down from the 23-yard line. Kelly under a lot of pressure. And Kelly gets taken down to the 22-yard line as the secondary did its job. Johnny Needs gets credit for the tackle.
Kelly not exactly reminding me of another number 12 at quarterback.
Rocket Randall.
Hardly a scintillating scramble there.
Meanwhile, there are the Bills as Kelly has spread it around. 7 different receivers have caught balls tonight. Half dozen for Reed. 2nd and 8. Over the middle, juggled, incomplete. Off the fingertips of Thurman Thomas.
Bubba McDowell's key hit there is what kept Thurman from bringing that one in.
Thurman was just trying to pull the bobble ball in, and he was really hammered by McDowell. Here it is right here.
Bubba hit the ball and Thurman.
3rd and 8. And it's caught by Smith at the 10, and a first down as he takes it to the 6. Stopped by Kennard. 4:45 remaining, and looking ahead, the Bills have all of their timeouts left. They're down by 10. They have a 1st and goal at the 6.
Even though they're not using the huddle, what Buffalo did there was take enough time away from the line of scrimmage to allow the Oilers to go ahead and substitute. They're kind of defeating their purpose.
Kelly dumps it for Jamie Mueller, and Mueller goes to the 2. Ooh. Oh.
Al Smith. And Al Mueller held on to that football.
I think that was Bubba McDowell that came up first and took Mueller's leg out from under him. Watch Bubba McDowell, number 25, right there.
There's Smith. But again, kudos to Mueller for just holding on to the football.
Great look, guys. Great look. Craig Janoff and our wonderful camera crew. Great look, guys.
2nd and goal. 3 tight end set. Don't forget Butch Roll in these situations. And it is incomplete, intended for Metzelars, but it bounced. Metzelars, who's already scored a touchdown tonight, doing his best to convince the officials, but they're not remotely biting. And there is an injured Oiler, and it's William Fuller, who suffered a concussion last week, but played most of the game against Cleveland. And he's writhing in pain here at the 5-yard line.
Kelly looking to get the 6 as quickly as he can, goes to the air, and Metzelars gets up and gives it a little victory dance in the end zone.
That's very nice, Pete.
Stanislavski all the way.
That was Fuller that that was Fuller that fell right at the feet of Jim Kelly. And Al mentioned that he came out of the game last week and did not remember great stretches of that game.
Looked as though he grabbed his hip when he went down. Let's take a look again. Fuller, number 95.
He's cut there by Mueller. He comes down and lands right on his chest without getting a chance to get his arms out in front of him and break that fall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Oilers food drive of the United States Marine Corps Reserve.
We could like to say a quick hello to some new friends out in Missoula, Montana. Joining our ABC family of affiliates, we'd like to welcome KTM FTV, Channel 23 in Missoula. Delighted you're with us.
Fuller is assisted off. They've got problems up front now with Fuller gone and Doug Schmidt inactive.
Time to bring in the old-timer, Ezra Johnson.
Yep. And they bring in Willis Pegues, who's been seldom used this season as well. That's him, number 72.
Bills needing 2 scores. You would suspect that Kelly, who has a great deal of confidence, to put this in the air.
3rd and goal. Again, that 3 tight end set. And they give it to Thomas, who swings to the outside and gets in. Thurman Thomas behind a Richer block. And with 3:29 remaining, if Norwood's extra point is good, the Bills will be down by 3.
You saw the grizzled one, Jim Richer, walking off the field. He's out in front. He doesn't get his guy down. Watch number 51 come out of that left guard position. He doesn't get his man down on the ground, Leander Knight. But look how he stays with him. He stays with him long enough to take away the contain that Knight had on that play. Jim Richer, their number 1 draft choice all the way back in 1980. Of course, you see that strap he's got on. It's hard to hold your helmet walking off. He just flips it off the back and lets it sit there.
Thomas gets the 6 and Richer gets the satisfaction.
Frank Reich puts it down for Norwood, whose extra point is good, and it's 27-24. So the Oiler lead is 3. 3 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in regulation.
This is great. Watch this. It's a test. These guys think that both of these are aquariums. Wrong. Actually, one of them is a Hitachi big screen TV. Thanks to Ultravision with its ultra clear, ultra bright, ultra sharp picture. They don't have a clue which is which. Okay, time's up. It's this one. Hey, where are you going? You're going to miss the commercial. Ultravision, only from Hitachi.
The Black & Decker Air Station. It has all the pressure you need to inflate anything. Fast. The Black & Decker Air Station. Always at your service.
A McDonald's holiday quiz. What's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates? And what's only $1.49 with any food purchase? Right, Miss Bianca or Bernard.
Food, fuss, and fun.
So how many cars does Mercedes has to crash every year?
Oh, I say about 100. You can never learn enough. Ever since we had it patented, we have been improving this concept of the energy-absorbing car body.
But other companies use the concept.
We have never enforced the patent.
So Mercedes gave away a basic safety advance for free?
There are some things in life that are too important not to share.
Kelly and Moon pretty much as advertised tonight. Last year, a wild one, 88 points. They went into overtime. Buffalo won it 47-41. Tonight, 51 points on the board. Oilers by 3, 3:29 left in regulation. Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining.
Moon needs 35 yards to reach 300 for the 4th consecutive game, and I'm sure when he comes out, he's going to be playing more possession football than he ordinarily would.
Norwood's kick fielded at the 10-yard line by McNeil. He brings it back to the 23-yard line. Hal Garner.
Oh, we've got a...
makes the tackle. A little skirmish, but no damage. Head-to-head, the look here. Kelly and Moon. Kelly, 23 out of 34, 224. And there's Moon completing 70% of his passes for 265.
Well, the surprising number there is Kelly's 34 attempts to Moon's 20. I mean, at the very least, we would have thought that that would have been reversed.
Moon, as Frank mentioned, looking for a 4th straight 300-yard game. There were none yesterday. This year, oddly, guys who throw for 300 or more yards have won 2/3 of the time. That is not the case, though, historically. In fact, less than 50% of the time in the decade of the 80s. But the quarterback who threw for 300 play on the winning side. White fights out to the 30-yard line, and what better way to begin this drive when you want to take time off the clock, and Buffalo has to stop the clock by taking a timeout on defense.
Al, the point there is that so often a quarterback amasses those yards because his team is trailing, and he's throwing the ball in a catch-up position.
By 10:30 tomorrow morning, one company will guarantee delivery of your overnight air packages to more people, places, and businesses than anyone else in the business. UPS introduces 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. 62,000 trucks. No waiting.
Second down and a long 3 for the Houston Oilers at the 30-yard line. Houston leading by 3. They were favored by 3. 3:10 remaining. 4th quarter.
Nobody said you had to be normal to come to a football game. Oops. Or be in the booth.
Definitely not. Here's White. He shoves forward for about 1.5 yards, and you got a very big play coming up after Buffalo takes this timeout. Now, Buffalo has 1 timeout left. You're going to have a 3rd and about 2 with 3:04 remaining.
Polaroid. We can help you in ways you never thought of.
Working together, showing you how, helping you save, doing it now. When there's work to be done, feelings to capture, nothing works faster. We are the answer. Nothing works like Polaroid. Nothing works like Polaroid.
Vital play coming up for Houston to keep this drive going, to move the sticks. Bills have already taken 2 timeouts. They have 1 remaining plus 1 coming at the 2-minute warning as well. It's 3rd and a short 3. Norwood hoping for a shot later. He's the Bills field goal kicker. Moon retreating. Throws, has the first down to who else? Lorenzo White, having the night of his life at the 38-yard line.
And the Bills have gambled early with some 3 minutes on the clock. They have expended 2 of their timeouts, and they're down to 1. And another Houston first down, and this could be almost bankable.
That's a fine catch by Lorenzo White. Not an easy ball, not right at his body.
Boy, he has had some night.
Over 200 yards total for Lorenzo White.
210 yards from scrimmage on 16 carries, 5 receptions. First down at the 38-yard line. It's a career high for him in rushing yardage.
All of it taking place in the backdrop when many wanted him replaced.
White buried by several Bills after no gain, and now Buffalo will take this opportunity to spend its final timeout. And he'll get one more at the 2-minute warning.
And here's a place where you can get burned for a big play. Buffalo is gambling up front, blitzing. This guy may just call for a big one over the top.
Our bike business had never been better. So one day we just looked at each other and knew it was time to go public.
Your auditor gives us an accurate picture of your capital needs. When are we going to hear?
It takes time. Off to New York, guys.
2 minutes, 8 seconds remaining. It is second down, 11 for the Houston Oilers at the 37. This one pretty much going as advertised. Interesting game. Moon and Kelly having good nights. A lot of points on the board, and the Oilers leading by 3 as they try to move into a 3-way tie with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in the AFC Central. Miami, of course, is very much rooting for a Houston win, which would put them in a tie with Buffalo atop the AFC East and having won the head-to-head meeting with the Bills. Second and 11, and Lorenzo White takes it out to the 42, loses the football. Was it a live ball? There's no signal yet. No. They say it was down at the 42-yard line as we come to the 2-minute warning.
That's right.
Jeff Wright came up with a football for Buffalo, but the official came in. It was actually Darryl Talley.
Whoa.
Wright created it.
Oh, that looked like a fumble initially. It looked like that ball was loose.
Yes, it did. We're at the 2-minute warning. We're also, I'm sure, having a look at it upstairs.
But keep in mind, the whistle blew. They ruled it down. This is one of those things where it's not going to really matter. The ball's out, I think, before the knee touches the ground. That's really a fumble, but keep in mind, the whistle blew. The play ended right there. It doesn't matter who recovered it.
Sunny skies and 0 chance of rain through Sunday.
Good news. There's no snow in our forecast today.
Mercedes-Benz presents Formatic. Outwitting the weather and the road with the most advanced all-wheel drive system ever put in a car. Formatic. It may just obsolete other all-wheel drive systems. Not to mention weather forecasts.
Basketball practice at 4 o'clock. I better get going.
Bob's bringing his boss home for dinner. I'd better make something special.
Is it possible? We've had that refrigerator since '84.
Hey, listen to this. Car expenses took 10% of the budget last month.
Yeah, Mom, I finished with my homework. Yay! You're good at this game.
Finally, a computer so easy to use it guarantees success. The Tandy 1000 RL with 24 built-in home organizing solutions, now on sale. Only at Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares for Christmas shopping.
The thirst for adventure is Michelob Dry. Refreshing beyond the ordinary. And once you've experienced the bold taste with no aftertaste, there is no going back.
We showed you that last play, breaking it down into tenths of seconds where you could see that ball come loose. Now look at that regular speed. When you look at that and you see Lorenzo White going down on the ground, I don't think any of us can say that if we were down there, we would have made exactly that same call. Because we're looking at like his knee being an inch or two off the ground before the ball starts to come loose. That's a call that you can't blame the officials for calling.
Ruled down by contact. Houston ball 3rd and 6. If they pick up the first down, this one is history. Moon throws. It is Gibbons.
This is more than history.
Yep. To the 30. And the Oilers are going to be in a 3-way tie for first place.
And Gibbons looks hurt.
28-yard gain.
Gibbons very wisely stayed in bounds. Wisely, if you consider the fact that he was thinking about he can run this game out now, but he paid the price deep downfield. Well, Warren Moon is close to, what, the 4th one out?
He has exactly 300 yards after that completion.
And look how wisely he chose the cover guy. Leonard Smith is the guy locked up with Ernest Gibbons, and I'm afraid that's just a mismatch.
And again, the Bills coming with the blitz, so it would guarantee that Smith would have to go man for man back there. And Warren Moon has orchestrated a beautiful night for this run-and-shoot offense. Pick the right man with the right coverage.
It's a first down at the 30. Buffalo can't stop the clock. It will be restarted as soon as Gibbons leaves the field. We have 1:40 remaining. Moon has had the only 300-yard game in the NFL this week and weekend.
And keeps his streak alive, huh?
4 straight and 8 for the season, 1 behind the NFL record held by Dan Marino.
Oh, look how Gibbons had his right knee pinned underneath.
But he's okay. He's up and walking off.
Bennett trying to strip the ball, and Gibbons getting his leg caught underneath him. And he looks to be all right.
Well, we mentioned before, in the decade of the 80s, if you passed for 300 or more yards, more often than not, you lost. But this year, it's a case of quarterbacks who've done that having a record of 21 and 10. And for Mr. Moon, his efficiency rating will go up. Some of you may know that Warren has a deal in his contract. If he finishes in the top 3 in passing efficiency among NFL quarterbacks, he earns a bonus equal to the average salary of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league minus his salary. What are we talking about? Over $1 million if he finishes 1, 2, or 3 extra.
That was in effect last year, Al, and he finished what? 4th by how many points?
By the skin of his teeth to Jim Everett, who came in 3rd. And Mr. Moon, however, right now is on his way to that bonus.
And this makes the sweep for the weekend. All of the division leaders, all 6 of them, go under.
And it also puts this club, the Houston Oilers, into a tie in the AFC Central with a 6-5 record.
And the Bills tied with Miami.
First time since the merger in '70 that all 6 first-place teams have lost over the same weekend. The Bills and Miami tied for first in the AFC East, but in effect, Miami has the lead because of their head-to-head win in Week 2. The 2 teams still have 1 more game remaining at Buffalo.
And is the run and shoot here to stay in Houston? I think it's fair to say that it is.
They still have to take it to Kansas City a little later on. They'll play outdoors there in December, and they'll play at Cincinnati outdoors. So there's a little more work to be done for Houston.
Jeffrey Mason, our executive producer. Kenny Wolf. Craig Janoff heading up the gang downstairs with Joe Chavo and Ben Harvey and the whole group. And our thanks upstairs here to George Hill and to Malibu Kelly Hayes and to the great Ronit Larone. 15 seconds remaining. 1 more kneel down.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is strictly prohibited.